Good day, everyone. Welcome to Deku Universe. Today we are beginning part 1 of What If Deku Was Alone with a Girl on an Island. The fanfiction is created by Prysmordia on Wattpad. Now let's begin. 12:23 p.m. Heights Alliance Class 3 AUA High School Izuku Midoriya. He has been in conflict inside of mind for months now. He couldn't help but put himself down. He saw himself as a disappointment to All Might's Power 1 for all he's mentally beating himself up for it, always putting himself down for not being enough. He said he couldn't keep it anymore. First, he couldn't confess to Ochako Uraraka, and she got into a relationship with Katsuki Bakugo, his now redeemed best friend. Although at first he couldn't handle it, but as time goes by he grows into it and saw them happy together. So in his mind, he should be happy for the two of them. It hurts at first, but that's a speck of pain from the self-loathing he's giving himself. He couldn't do it as only at 50% of 1, for all he couldn't control it well. Sometimes he becomes a liability to his friends, although they didn't comment much on it, but he's the one beating himself for it. He feels like it's not enough to carry a torch as bright as All Might's legacy. So in this dark early morning, Izuku packed his bags and left a shot glass of BLD for All Might. The notes were sorry for his classmates for being a bad hero and a big liability, while he left a note for All Might to read when he's gone from his school, where he doesn't belong, by his words. Self-doubt is a deadly disease note for All Might Sensei. Dear All Might, the man who saw worth in me, the man who I saw as a father I never had, I hope this letter finds itself in your hands. I am leaving UA. I don't see much worth in myself, unlike the way you see in me. I feel I'm being a liability to my classmates for not being good enough to be with them. Maybe they're just shy to tell it to me, but to me that's what I saw myself, as someone who's unreliable to do something so All Might. I hope you can forgive me for running away. I'm weak-willed, I'm scared that I'd be worthless before I could have the chance to show myself. All the villain attacks, all the fights with villains, it made me realize how worthless I am. I left a shot glass of my BLD. Please consume some of it. I'll transfer one for all back to you. Please drink my BLD. Within 2 days, your successor. Time skip. Toshinori Yagi, also known as All Might, has read through the letter, grasping his heart from the words spoken in his message. He couldn't help but cry for his successor. He's a man of hope and peace. He was wondering why his own successor couldn't see hope in himself. He didn't know of the boy's mental instability, since he always saw Izuku Midoriya as the type of person to always smile no matter the cost. That's why I'd choose the boy as a successor, but he couldn't put his mind at the fact that the boy wanted to give up. Young Midoriya, why do you out yourself down like this? Why can't you see the potential in yourself? You are the greatest young man. Too perfect to be my successor. So why would you give up like this? Toshinori Yagi, as strong as he was in his prime, couldn't help but let his knee hit the ground. Young Midoriya, I am proud of you. The accomplishment you did, so why would you give up? With his frail fist, he punched the hard concrete, not caring that his hands started to bleed. Why would you give up on yourself, young Midoriya? He's sobbing. The man known as the strongest cried for losing his successor and son figure. I didn't know. I'm sorry, young Midoriya. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how unstable you'd become, how you wanted to die. Please drink my BLD. Within 2 days. All Might realized that sentence a few minutes ago. He knew what Midoriya is planning to do. Ever since his mother died while he was a second year in UA, Midoriya has become someone even All Might couldn't read. Sure, Izuku was smiling on the outside, and All Might was happy that Izuku didn't beat himself up for losing his mother, but All Might isn't omniscient. He doesn't have an idea of how broken Izuku was inside, hidden by his mask. I'm sorry, I really don't have any idea of your mental health, young Midoriya. If I had known, I would have sent you to Hound Dog regularly, so you could be better. I'm really sorry. All Might grasped the cold, hard concrete floor, pain evident on his expression. I'm sorry, Inko-san. I couldn't help, young Midoriya. No. It's not too late yet. I have to find my boy. A profound determination lit up in All Might's eyes. I have to find young Midoriya and reassure him that he's my successor and nothing can change that. All Might stood back up. With the embers of determination inside him grew into an inferno of longing for his successor. He picked up his phone and dialed a number. Hello, Tsukauchi. Yes, it's me, All Might. I need some help. As the other side spoke, All Might wait and speak about his problem to his trusted police friend. I need help with finding Izuku Midoriya. He suddenly left UA out of nowhere. Please find it before the 2 days mark. This is urgent. That boy is mentally unstable. He needs help as soon as possible. All Might slumped his back on the doorframe, resting himself from all this stress. Thank you. You don't know how thankful I am, Tsukachi. Thank you. He dropped the call and breathed heavily from this tension, his feeling deep within himself. All Might is shaking from imagining what if the boy really did it. What if Midoriya really did go with his plans of ending his own life? Please be safe, young Midoriya. As he looked at the table, where a little glass cup rested, it's filled with Izuku's BLD. Hopefully I don't need to drink that. Please come home, young Midoriya. Scene change. Isle of Berk, a world far different than where Izuku is. This world is far too back in time than Izuku's timeline. It's the era of Vikings and dragons. At the Hofferson hut, Astrid Hofferson, she's a young woman in her early 20s years of life, blonde hair, ocean blue, eye as appealing as the seas that surrounds Berk. She's also a dragon rider, with a dragon partner named Stormfly. Although Astrid looks tough outside, she's really a soft and kind-hearted person for a couple of people, particularly her boyfriend and partner Hiccup, the dragon MSTR, partner of the infamous Night Fury Toothless. She's in a relationship with him for years now. Both were loyal with each other, supporting them when times get tough. She's Hiccup's sword and axe. While he's the brains of their relationship, these two are inseparable. But what can love do against fate? One day, she and Stormfly were flying around some islands near New Berk since there had been a spotting of dragon hunters, as the report last stated. She had gone to these islands without the notice of Hiccup. They both landed. Both were vigilant of the surrounding and ready to retaliate if anything goes south. She has her axe ready in case of an attack. Scout states that some dragon hunters were located in some cave in an unnamed, so she decided to go far cave. A long vigilant walk until they both found cave. The dragon growled at the sight of the cave, as the dragon recognized something she didn't. Hush, calm down, girl. We might get caught, shhhh. She hushed her dragon companion. She then got the courage to approach the entrance of the cave. Meanwhile, she looks back. Come on, girl, follow me. She gestured for her dragon to follow her. But much to her surprise, her dragon didn't follow. What's happening with Stormfly? Why is she afraid of this cave? She was confused at first, but she didn't mind and continued with slowly crouching towards the cave's entrance. Given there's no light. Wait, good thing I borrowed Hiccup's sword. Since there's no light, she knew no people are in there, but she needs some proof that dragon hunters really did have gone here. So lighting the flaming sword and illuminated the cave's entrance and a good part of it. Are those pillars? She approached the pillars and illuminated them using the flaming sword. What are these symbols? She tried wording it, but she's not familiar with these symbols. It's not Norse, not Dragonese, either the language Hiccup used with communicating with other dragons. So what's this? Stone tablets and pillars with some runes. Her fingers touched the stone pillars, dusting off some thick dust covering it. It's a mess. Who would even create these, and what for? She asked no one while tracing the symbols with her finger. Then it happened. The pillars glowed yellow. What's happening? She exclaimed in surprise, and took her fingers off the pillars. It's glowing. She wanted to run, and she run fast, but an invisible wall stopped her from exiting the vicinity of the 4 pillars she stuck in between them. What's happening? I'm stuck in here. What's this almost invisible yellow wall? She tried punching it, using her axe, but the thing wouldn't budge. It won't bud. My fingers, looking at her fingers, her gaze focused on her fingers, slowly turning into nothing but particles. What's this? No. What kind of witchcraft is this? I need to get out of her. Stormfly, help. She shouts for her dragon, but no avail. Her behind hits the cold ground. As she saw at my legs, dread filled her very soul, looking at her crumbling legs turning into yellow particles. I can't do anything but wait for me to turn into nothing. She gritted her teeth. She crawled into the invisible wall, trying her best to claw her way out. It's no use, I'm gonna die in here. She rested, sitting there while tears began to drip from her eyes. She looked so devastated at the realization. I'm really gonna die. Limb by limb, her body slowly turns into particles. I'm sorry, Mom. Dad, Hiccup. as the last tears fell from her eyes, and her entire body becomes particles, leaving her clothes behind, and the sword Hiccup lent to her. A brighter glow illuminated on the floor. It's yellow with a huge rune symbol. The particles that was once Astrid began to swirl into a whirlpool of energy particles as the pillars shimmered with ethereal light. As the yellow particles collapse on itself, and the pillars lost their light. What's more confusing is the pillars began to crumble down. It all subsides as minutes later Stormfly went inside and saw no one. There's no Astrid. No one was left in there. Her dragon looks at the clothes Astrid wore and the sword Hiccup lent to her. The dragon, with a solemn look on its face, took the sword and Astrid's clothes in its mouth. Stormfly flew back home to Burke and went straight to Hiccup. "She's gone, dragon, and sir." Stormfly spoke in Dragonese to Hiccup, while Stormfly dropped the clothes Astrid wore and the sword. "What? What do you mean she's gone, Stormfly? Did some dragon hunters found her, or what?" Hiccup asked, also speaking in Dragonese. "I mean, she's gone dead. It happened suddenly when we were at that island. She insisted on going inside that cave." Stormfly explained. "Then what happened? What happened to her after that?" Hiccup shouted at the poor dragon, whom also lost a rider. "I didn't go inside with her. I felt something inside there. She didn't recognize my signals to her to not go in, and after a few minutes that weird energy was gone, and I went there, only to find some broken pillars and her clothes and your sword. That's all what's left when I got there." The dragon sobbed. Hiccup knew when dragons are in pain, and this moment is one of it. He scratched Stormfly's lower neck, calming the poor dragon down. Astrid. Hiccup looks at the sky. Tears were freely flowing down her eyes. His heartstrings were tearing themselves apart as sadness of losing someone he loves was unbearable. His legs gave out as he sobbed on the dragon. Why her? He pleaded. How will Hiccup move from her death? How will he cope with losing Astrid? Well, that's not our story. But know this, someone will appear in his life that will thaw his frozen heart. Read Omphalos. Hiccup x Elsa. Scene change back to Izuku Midoriya. He's currently lost. He pushes legs to go forward, to get away from UA and heroes as far as possible. He has been using One for All for almost an hour now, using Float to go island to island, making sure he's far from heroes. Until he finds an island where there's no people, no lights, no buildings, just nature basked in the moonlight of the night. He rested on a tree for a good hour for the aching muscles in his arms and fingers for using too much of Float and One for All. Yes, he only has Float and Black Whip unlocked. When it started to rain, Izuku found shelter on a cave. It was dark, but he brought flashlights and batteries, along with 2 weeks' worth of food, then some survival tools like waterproof lighter and matches, and a crossbow, a gift from Yaoyorozu on his birthday last year. He then tread the cave with flashlight lighting the dark place. He saw 4 pillars and a circle in between them. Seeing nothing more comfy than pillars, he brought out his sleeping bag, a gift from Aizawa-sensei. He rested his bag on the corner of the cave, and he prepared his sleeping bag for him to sleep later. I should eat before I sleep. I'll cook first. He prepared his handy foldable stainless fireplace. It was the size of a A4 bond paper, but it works, I guess. So he took some woods that's littering around the cave and lit it up. I guess that's done ISH-. He was cut off by the pillars shimmering a yellow glow. What's that? Someone's quirk, he asked, as all 4 pillars suddenly lets out yellow particles that combined in the circle in between the pillars. He cold see it. Is that no way? What kind of quirk is that? He was amazed at first, seeing a figure being formed by the yellow particles. It's forming into a person. It must be a warping quirk, he said, while the figure finally formed as the light explodes. Ah, my eyes. Izuku covered his eyes from the bright light. It took him a couple of minutes to regain his vision. And when he looks at the circle like altar and saw something. Is that a person? He crawled to it. And so she's naked? No. No. Not the time to think about that kind of things now. He covered his eyes, is so flustered that his face was blushing so hard. I show dash. Izuku saw the pillars crumbling down. He didn't second guess and hugged the unconscious woman. No. As the pillars falls on them, Izuku instinctively used One for All as dust covered the place when it fell down. Is it fate or something more? Something superficial that needed to happen as two paths crossed? One is an unconfident hero, and the other is a proud Viking. Izuku protected the girl. He used several black whips to cover themselves in a protective cocoon made of green and pitch-black whips. Breathing heavy few that almost took us out. What even happened just now? Using the whips, he took the rocks away and putting them on the side while he carried the girl bridal style. Why is she naked? What happened to her? He rested the unconscious girl on his sleeping bag. This will do for now. Taking off his own jacket and putting it on her, looking away while doing it. There, she should be ourig dash. The moment he puts his hand on her neck to check her body heat, he realized it. She's burning up. I need my towel and something cold. Right then and there he got an idea. He stood up and backed outside with towel on hand. Izuku having the idea of soaking the towel with cold rainwater. After that, he went back inside and opened the jacket, revealing her naked figure again. He's trying his best not to look while soaking her body in cold rainwater through the towel. He does this for 5 minutes until he's sure that somehow her heat has gone down. Thank God she's all right. I swear she's too hot back there, he said while having his mini solar charge fan focused on her. She'll need the comfort more than me. Just sleep tight. Maybe tomorrow your heat will go away. He summed it up to her having a cold, so he stayed there sacrificing his own comfort just for her to be okay. Izuku's a hero. After all, his priority is the people that need saving first. I'll stay here beside you, Izuku said while looking at the cave's ceiling, a bunch of sharp rocks at the top, as he glanced at the sleeping visage of the woman. I still don't know what happened to you, but maybe tomorrow I'll have answers to my questions, he said before he too was welcomed by the warming embrace of sleep. Time skip morning, island near the coast of Japan. Izuku woke up to someone shaking him, and opening his eyes he saw the girl alive and well. Then he glanced at where her hand was. She currently has him a tight spot. She has Izuku's butterfly knife on Izuku's own neck. Who are you? Where is this place? She shouts, while Izuku calmed himself. He knows if he panicked he'd see God the next moment. He puts both his hands up as if surrendering. I'm Izuku Midoriya, and this is Japan. What happened to you? Why are you confused? And please put that knife away, he said while seeing that confused face she has. Then she asked the most confusing question ever for Izuku. What's Japan? She asked as Izuku's eyes widened in shock. Are you a lost foreigner or something? He questioned. What's a foreigner? Okay, that's it. It raised so many flags in Izuku's mind. He knows this lady right here isn't just with him. Her confusion sounds so authentic. Oh, in the name of Thor, where am I? The blade inches closer to Izuku's neck more. Wait, I have no idea. Just the fact that we're in Japan, and that's all. I don't know why you're confused by some words. He profusely shakes his hands. He's not used to this kind of stuff. Growl, growl. Izuku's eyes trailed at her belly. Then even she looks at her belly, and Izuku chuckles. Ha! Someone's hungry. Come on, get off me, I'll prepare food. She was hesitant on letting Izuku go, but he didn't ask her, he just stated what he wants to do. Then by using Black Whip, he took her off by himself. What are those? It's coming out of your hands. She waves the knives around. Get away from me. What kind of witchcraft is that? Now it's Izuku's time to be confused. Witchcraft. Ha ha. What are you, some ancient human girl who found herself in the future? No, this isn't witchcraft, it's my quirk. Well, quirks. She was still on guard, judging what Izuku's saying. Stop that, I don't bite. If I wanted to kill you, you would have already be dead. I saved you last night. You have a bad fever. Your body was heating up so much that you needed some cold comfort. So I let you keep my ice jacket and that sleeping bag with features of warm and cold, depending which SWCH you pressed. Her mouth wide open, confused at what Izuku was saying. The what and cold what now? I'm lost. Letting the knife go, while Izuku approached her. You look lost though, I guess that's one. Where do you even live? Izuku asked, while scouting her movements of if she moves again to attack him. Burke, I live in Burke, she answered. Name? He asked. Astrid Hofferson. Izuku paused while soaking all the information. I see, Astrid, I don't know what your game is, but Burke doesn't exist, and you not having ideas about what a foreigner and quirks are is suggesting that you lost your memories. Izuku stated while looking at her. No, you're wrong. I didn't lose my memories. I can clearly remember everything from when I got into a cave, then this pillars glowed, and I turned into light, something like fireflies. Izuku pondered on her words, analyzing every single detail. By like fireflies, you mean particles cause that's how you appeared to me. She nodded. She doesn't have an idea what particles are, but she still nodded. Give me a moment. By taking a sit on the cold, hard ground, Izuku cupped his chin, thinking about some possibilities about her predicament. So whatever happened to you, I got an idea. You must transport it here, or something, and that lost look you're giving is just too genuine to be fake. Believe I know. When people are lying, I learn from the best at reading people like an open book. His gaze fixed on her rather delicate figure, but eyes of a warrior who knew of nothing but battle. Just sit there, I'll prepare food, then we could discuss this over breakfast. Walking towards his cooking utensils, some of it are baking sensado, gave him this said on his 18th birthday. Oh, and keep that knife if you feel threatened. I'll preparing food for the both of us. He flatly said, while she eyed him. Astrid couldn't get her gaze off the mysterious person who saved her, and is now preparing breakfast for the two of them. After 30 minutes of waiting, Izuku took a foldable mini table and puts it near Astrid. Come on, sit. The food is ready. Astrid slowly gets closer to him and sat on the ground exactly face with Izuku, the mini table. Between them. What is this small thing? It resembles tables in Burke. Amazing. Her hands caress the table, somehow amazed by the design and the foldable gimmick it did. You really are not of this time. So, Astra Hofferson, from what era are you? His eyes fixed on hers, as the two both locked eyes. An era of dragons, where a tribe of Vikings coexist with dragons in their day-to-day life. She informed while looking at the hot, freshly cooked food that Izuku rested in the small table. Izuku, meanwhile, was reading her lips, gazing at her eyes, then her body language, trying to decipher if she's lying or not. I guess you aren't lying to me. Honestly, a time of dragons and Vikings sounds kind of fantasy if you ask me. But the genuine reaction you have and how your body acts, something's telling me you aren't lying. You're telling the truth. He said, you can read people's mind. She asked, mind boggled at the possibility. Not exactly. I can read people through their actions, their lips, their body language, and through their eyes. I know a liar when I see one, and Astrid, you aren't one. I can see it all. I can see through you. You're lost. You have no one here, and you're missing someone. His eyes landed on hers. Those eyes reveal more than just someone lost. Your eyes reminded me of myself. Self-doubt, lost, no one to cling on, and longing for someone. Izuku sighed. He's already feeling the darkness inside his soul, eating away pieces of him little by little. How? She grabbed him by the collar and dragged him closer to her own face. How do you know so much about me? Are you the one who brought me here? She yelled at him, breathing heavily as the stress of being sent here and losing everyone there in Burke takes a toll on her. If you want someone to blame, Izuku took the knife, put it on her hand, and made her clench it as he brought the knife close to his own neck, using her hands. If you want, you can blame me. I had enough of it all. I'm tired of being useless and being the good-for-nothing successor of someone great. Astrid recoils back at what he said. She saw his eyes there so dead that even the abyss would be jealous at their lifeless, dark, and empty state. Go on, finish it. In my misery, Izuku's cracked. He couldn't keep up the mask he puts on when talking to her. He's so done. He wanted all his pain to end. He has no reason to live. No mother to home to, no mother to cook him good and hot catsup on, no girlfriend to comfort him, to make him feel love and belong. No friends, not anymore. He bottled it up inside him. But he hated how Uraraka chose Bakugo over him. His former tormentor over him, the one person who loved her ever since the very beginning of their year at UA. And no, she threw the knife away. He saw him for the person he truly is, a broken man with nothing left to live for. I won't do it. Her mind and body couldn't resist. Seeing this man broke down in front of her. Her hands moved, her body leaped forward. She gave what Izuku needed all this time. Something that brings light in the abyss within his soul. They both fell to the ground. Izuku's eyes let out tears he had been holding back for so long. She hugged him, not a lover hugging her partner, but someone who saw a person so broken, so by instinct she gave him what he needed. A hug with comfort to tell him that he's still needed, that he's still important. Thank you, is all he could say, this warmth of comfort. He needed this. Night, in the unnamed island near the Japanese coast. Thanks to Astrid, Izuku somehow gained some light in his eyes to the point that he didn't need to put on his mask to hide how he feels. Again, thank you for what you did back there. I really needed that, Izuku said solemnly, while looking at Astrid, who was on the bonfire grilling a piece of boar thigh. It's nothing really. You saved me. I saved you. We're even. Astrid spoke, while Izuku made his way to the bonfire sitting near her. Nothing, huh? You have no idea how much I needed that. He chuckled lightly. To her surprise, she saw him curl his lips into a smile. Yeah, you really needed that, huh? She was entranced seeing that little smile. She doesn't have a single idea how that depressed man even knows what a smile is. By the way, why are you here in this cave? I never asked you that. Makes me curious what your story is. As she asked his story, Izuku solemnly looks at the fire. I was a hero in training back in UA, where the best of heroes are nurtured. But me, I was nothing. I couldn't even control the gift I was given. He paused, preparing for the right words. I'm useless, his face, his tone, the pain in those words while he said it. It reminded him someone she knew too well. Looking at Izuku, Astrid was reminded of young Hiccup, where he was outcast by his peers for being useless, for being the only Viking to not kill a dragon, for being a fishbone. You're not useless. In fact, I knew someone who thought the same. The way he worked hard to be himself, to not ride the tide but go through the currents. She walked and sat beside him. You just need to believe in yourself. Everyone has purpose, so ask yourself. Her pointer finger landed on Izuku's chest. Deep inside you, ask yourself, what's your purpose? She said. Those words hit Izuku like a truck. I know my purpose, to save people, to be a light they could look up to. Hearing that, she smiled. You wanted to save people. That's great and all, but her hand rested on his chest. If you really wanted to save people, he looks up at her, locking eyes with the blonde girl who touched his very soul. Shouldn't you save yourself first? She patted his chest and stood up, leaving Izuku contemplating on Astrid's statement. Shouldn't you save yourself first? He doesn't know why, but those words resonate with him. The self-doubt, the lack of confidence, and self-wallowing he does was slowly crumbling away. All he needed was a push, a great purpose. Come on, let's eat. A good Viking needs a filled stomach. We need the energy to hunt boars tomorrow. She urged him as Izuku walked next to her, taking a piece of meat from the huge bowl. Shouldn't you save yourself first? It still echoes inside his head. Again, with that little embers of hope and joy inside him, the disease of darkness growing inside him was calmed down. He couldn't help but let his lips curl up into a genuine smile. There we go. Now you look alive. Come on, eat more. She urged him. Then he took the sauce from one of the pouches in his bag. This tastes bland. Maybe a good seasoning and sauce should do the trick. He brought out sauce packets and opened one. What's that? Astrid asked, confused what those shinny-looking packets are. It's sauce. Here, let me. He then puts a good portion on our boar thigh. Go try it. Astrid do as told and took a bite. The flavor, the aroma, it's amazing. I didn't know little packets like that give flavor to meat. Astrid was surprised at the sudden flavor that defiled her mouth. It was mouth-watering. It goes well with meat. This is amazing, honestly, she exclaimed while Izuku was looking at her. His eyes couldn't stop but admire her beauty. How happy she was to taste flavor like that. You really are from another world or time. He snickered while he was jabbed by Astrid on the arm. Hey, they're all alone in this island. Their dynamic grows, and their somewhat casual friendship blossoms. Scene change, principal office, UA grounds, Japan. All Might sat on a chair, Aizawa on the other while they were discussing with Nizu. I know, All Might. I know we need to find the problem child before that 2-day mark hits. We only have a day at most right now, Aizawa stated, looking more sleep-deprived than he already was. All Might couldn't help but slam his frail fist down the table. It's all my fault. I didn't see through young Midoriya's pain. He's broken, alone, and I didn't do a damn thing about it. How could I call myself his mentor? The symbol of peace reduced to a mentor longing for his successor's return. I promised his deceased mother that I would guide that young man into a great future, into a great hero. His hands were shaking. It's going to be all right. We'll find him by sunrise tomorrow. If we don't, we failed as his teachers. Aizawa pats All Might's back. They both share the same burden of finding Izuku. Scene change. Coffee shop near UA. Aoyama Yuga was shaking. So you did it. Aoyama nodded at the masked figure, while Aoyama was shaking in fear. Why, yes, I got him the letter that contained the quirk. The person smiled through his mask. Good with that quirk, Abyss Mental Coat. It destroys the user by his self-loathe, lack of self-confidence. It's a double-edged sword. If he did recover, then no. That's not a possibility for us. Even me couldn't beat him if he awakened that quirk. The person spoke, while Aoyama, fearing for his life, just nodded. Abyss Mental Coat. The original user became a husk of her former self. It destroys the user from the inside through their negative emotions. But this quirk is a double-edged sword. When awakened, this quirk lets the user have full control over darkness itself, as shown by the former user before she died from the unbearable power of her quirk awakening. She got to use the awakened quirk for only 5 minutes before its power turned her into a cold corpse. That's where All for One took her quirk and hid it in the depths of his mind. Provide me more information, Aoyama Yuga, or your parents' lives are, let's say, nulled. He threatened the poor shaking boy. I will. Please don't hurt my mama and papa. Aoyama pleaded. The mysterious person nodded. I need some information about Izuku Midoriya's whereabouts. I still have to take from his cold corpse. As Aoyama nodded profusely. Scene change. Unnamed island near Japanese coast. Izuku and Astrid's cave. For hours, the two bonded, talking about how their lives went. Both revealed information about themselves. Izuku learned that Astrid was a Viking, a dragon rider, and the girlfriend of the soon-to-be chief of Berk. He couldn't put his mind to it, but somehow within the depths of himself, hearing that Astrid was already taken somehow made him feel something. Not as bad as when Uraraka chose Bakugo over him, but it's still there, the same very emotion when that happened. Jealousy for a girl he met just a day in this cave. But that one day, they bonded far stronger than when Uraraka and him became friends. Astrid learned of Izuku's past, how he was quirkless at first and was outcast because of it, and got bullied, but the frail boy was given a chance by his hero, All Might. She got to know how Izuku suffered lack of confidence, on why he was beating himself up for his potential, for the fact that he never got chosen by the woman he liked, by how Izuku mentioned Uraraka, this bubbly girl that became his friend. She couldn't put her hands on it, but somehow she's a little conflicted. She loves Hiccup, but the fact that she may not go home, and how Izuku welcomed her and took care of her when she arrived. To her, Izuku could have just left her there to die, but he didn't. She knows inside her, she felt a bit of intense attraction for Izuku. It's not like how she feels for Hiccup, the love she has for Hiccup, but the attraction for Izuku. It's there, and by the passing days, it's growing. You really are something, Astrid. I wish I was half as good as you. Izuku sent a admiring look her way, and she jabbed his left side. Flattering me won't get you anywhere, hero, she playfully said, while Izuku grasped his side, feeling a bit of pain, but not bad enough. He only groaned in pain, silently. Astrid knows it. She's starting to feel attracted to Izuku, and Izuku, ever the dense dumbass, doesn't see it. It's their bond. Their connection, both knew it's there, and it's ever growing, and they have no way of stopping it. Time skip 1 week after Izuku's disappearance. He was proclaimed dead ever since All Might felt that the embers he had lost connection to one for all itself. Some people mourned his death, his Aunt Mitsuki and Uncle Masaru, Bakugo's parents, who saw Izuku as their own child ever since Inko's death. People who take it worse was his own classmates. I didn't saw Midobro's pain. He took his life because I wasn't there to be a good friend he could lean on. Kirishima was grasping his head. He couldn't believe his friend already died. Everyone in the classroom felt the same way. Me too. If Izuku-kun really felt that way and I saw through it, I would have sponsored for his therapy. The least I could do as his friend, Momo Yaoyorozu, the closest friend he has, even closer than Bakugo. They spent 3 years as training partners, and the class mom and class dad of their classmates. If only I knew I'm such a bad friend. She solemnly spoke her thoughts. She felt a hand on her back. Kyokajiru was patting her back to calm her down. Both looked at Izuku's desk. Flowers were there along with his picture framed in black. I hope he's in a better place, both said, praying for their mutual friend. Unnamed island near the Japanese coast, Izuku and Astrid's cave. 11 p.m. Astrid was enjoying the view of the starry sky. Her heart longed to graze the clouds again. I wish I had Stormfly with me. She'd love this starry sky, she said while her hands reached for the sky. Unfortunately for her, that's one thing she couldn't do now that she didn't have Stormfly with her. You seem lonely, enjoying the moonlight night sky filled with stars. Izuku, who was leaning on the cave entrance, asked her. Yeah, I really do miss my dragon. And flying in the sky, it's our hobby, except for killing dragon hunters, but that's beside the point, she replied. Izuku saw that look on her face. Care to dance with me in the sky? He asked. Then her gaze shot towards him. You could do th. She didn't have the chance to finish her words. Izuku's speed blitzed behind her and took her by the waist, and shot off. Using float and air cannon, he propelled himself and her towards the sky. What are you doing? We're in the sky. Wait, we're in the sky. She was mesmerized by the view, the clouds, the beauty of the sky, and it was breathtaking. It's appealing, far more appealing than the sky. We're used to. This is amazing. You really could fly. She's firmly grasping Izuku's arm. Not want to let go, or else you'll fall. Think fast. Izuku, being the sky fox, said as their eyes met. What do you mean? Izuku let her go as she's falling down, her hair getting assaulted by the wind. You muttonhead. They'll kill you for this, she yelled while falling. Can't hear you. Want to repeat that? Izuku teasingly replied. I will kill you, she replied back, her voice becoming a distant echo. Just kidding, Izuku said before using air cannon and propelled himself towards her. He blitzed to her and hugged her tightly. She did the same while breathing heavily. Don't ever do that to me again, she huffed between words. Izuku slowly untightened the hug, and she felt that. No, please don't let me go, don't, she begged. Sorry, it was too good to pass up. I'm sorry. He tightened his hold on Astrid. Don't worry, I'd never let you go, he said. Never, he whispered, and he started to descend it again, up toward the sky. As they pass up the sky, and even beyond the clouds. Look, it's appealing, isn't it? He said, while Astrid still shakes from that situation earlier. Hey, I'm sorry I did that, but look, it's appealing. I don't want you to miss this view, he whispered as Astrid slowly opened her eyes. It's amazing, the clouds and the sparkling dust in the sky. Stars, was it? She saw Izuku nodding at her question. Yeah, and one of it is you. You shine the brightest amongst all these stars. A little tinge of blush creeps on her face. Izuku really knew his way with words. Thank you for bringing me here. It feels like I'm home again. So, thank you. Really, thank you. She rested her head on Izuku's shoulder. Thank you. At that, Izuku smiled. He knew at this moment he made his friend happy. They slowly descended down, back to their home, their cave. He puts Astrid down. She was disoriented for a couple of seconds, but the moment she regained her bearings, Astrid punched Izuku's shoulder. Ouch. Stop that. It tickles, you know. She gained a deadpan expression at what Izuku just said and remembered something. I sometimes forget how durable you are, she said with half-closed eyes. Being thrown around my all might through buildings could do that to you, Izuku said, dreading the flashback he just had, All Might punching him through buildings while they were sparring. You got what now? You got thrown into those things you call buildings. How are you still alive? Astrid's mouth was wide open. I don't know, if maybe death just likes to dance with me. He got punched in the shoulder again by Astrid. You really are a mutton head, she sighed while pinching the bridge of her nose. But for a moment when she opened her eyes, she saw Izuku grasping his heart. Hey, what's happening to you? She asked, worried about him. And no, it's fine, don't worry about me. You'll be fine, Izuku said, waving his pain off as if it was nothing, but it wasn't just nothing. Astrid saw the appearance of his arm. It was covered in this pitch-black, shadowy substance, and some highlights of glowing purple all over his arms. And no, that's not just fine. There's something going on with your arms. Why did you hide this from me? She got to Izuku. He was wobbling, so she gave herself as support for him to lean on. I'm fine, Jira, no. Don't worry about me, you'll be fine. Her hold on Izuku tightened. She bit her lip to calm herself down. You're not fine. Stop hiding it. I know full well you're not fine. She helped Izuku, sitting on the ground. Astrid cheeks every part of him, just to make sure this shadowy thing wasn't growing, and she saw his legs. It was the same. His whole legs was covered by the shame shadows. No, please, you're being consumed by that thing. No, please don't take him from me. She begged the shadowy substance. Her hold on Izuku didn't stay a hold, but a hug. She hugged Izuku. Don't take him, I have no one here. Just him, please don't take him from me. Hearing what she said, Izuku couldn't help but let his tears out, as both their eyes locked with one another. Don't leave me. Izuku, gritting his teeth, was fighting back with whatever this is that's consuming him. Please, Astrid begged. She doesn't want to let go of Izuku. Astrid, promise me one thing, I will give you something. If I die fighting whatever this thing is, I want you to find someone named All Might. You know him, I told my story with you. He cupped Astrid's cheeks. No, I won't accept it, just stay. You won't die, just stay with me. I only have you left, someone who I consider a friend. Someone I love, dash. She covered her mouth, and she saw the smiling face of Izuku. I wish I had more time with you. I wish I could explore what I feel. Towards you, Astrid, his voice was shaking. It takes all of him just to fight whatever this thing is. I'm sorry. He bit his lip, causing BLD to drop down. And he kissed Astrid, not one of lust, but of desperation that lasted for 10 seconds as their lips parted away. I'm sorry, is all he said before he threw Astrid away, towards the cave entrance. No! The scream of Astrid echoed through the cave as she was forced out of the cave. I'm really sorry, from the entrance. Astrid's eyes locked with Izuku's own emerald eyes. Goodbye, Astrid, as he used one for all and punched at the top of the cave entrance, causing huge rocks to cover the entrance. I can't control it anymore. God damn it. It hurts. He screamed. The pain was unbearable. It's like his body was being eaten while he felt every single fiber of his muscles and flesh was being devoured by this shadowy thing. I need to fight this. The process isn't finished yet. I need to live for a couple of minutes. So one for all could transfer to Astrid before I die. Izuku clenched his fist. I won't die easily. Arcs of green lighting surrounds his body as he's mentally fighting a battle of resistance and corruption. In Izuku's mind, he stood against a giant humanoid figure. The only thing he could see was the purple glowing eyes staring back at him. Behind him, with a past wielder of One for All, kid, what's that thing, and why did you forcefully transfer One for All to that girl? Daigoro Banjo asked him. Whatever that thing is, it's no good. I got chills just by looking at it. Nana Shimura, the 7th, added. 9th, we'll fight with you, come on. Ready yourself, 9th. Yoichi the 1st said to him while putting his hand on Izuku's left shoulder. No, this isn't a fight we could win, please, just go with her. Go with Astrid or we'll all die here. We'll lose this fight, I know, at least if you go with her. One for All's journey won't end with me. Izuku, with tears in his eyes, pleaded. Please, first, just please listen to me. The first user took a step back, still processing what Izuku said. Kid, are you suicidal? You can't take that thing alone. Banjo retorted. I know I can't, but what importance does a Deku like me hold? It's better if One for All is with her. She'll carry that torch better than me. Izuku screamed. Please, I'm being you all. As the 9th wielder, am begging you, just go with her. I don't think I can keep this up, please. Their heartstrings were strung by Izuku's words. If it's your wish, I'll honor it, 9th, the 1st said, while patting Izuku's back. First, are you Sir Dash? Nana saw the look on Yoichi's face. He didn't look like he wanted this, but please, 7th, let's honor the boy's wish. The 1st, Yoichi started to crumble away, as does the other wielders followed with him. Nana was left with Izuku. Izuku Midoriya, if you fight that thing, search your heart. Think of someone important to you. Think of those persons and get it your all. Fight with everything you got. As Nana followed with them, she too crumbled down and disappeared from the vestige world. Looks like it's just you and me. Izuku approached the figure. He gains closer and closer to it. But the eyes didn't react until he passed through it. For a moment, Izuku was blinded by darkness, but when he regained sight, he didn't saw anything but white void and a single speck of something black in the distance. What's that? It looks out of place from all these white void. Each step he took closer to that speck, a memory replays in his mind. Think of something important to you, it's the memory of what Nana said to him. Hey, are you going to eat or what? It's when Astrid invited him to have breakfast because she hunted a boar and cooked it. Thank for saving me, a memory of Astrid thanking him for saving her. I really feel drawn to you. You know, it's his own memory of when he lightly touched the cheeks of a sleeping Astrid, confessing how he felt so attracted to her. Please don't ever let me go, a memory of Astrid pleading for him to not let go while they were up in the sky. If you really wanted to save people, why can't you save yourself first? It was the first motivation he received from Astrid. Then, Izuku saw that dark thing from his view. It looks like a heart. He reached for it. With one final step. Don't leave me, a memory of Astrid, pleading for him to not leave her. It happened just moments ago, before he forcefully threw her away and sealed the cave entrance. Don't leave me, it replayed for him. Her voice strengthens him as he reached for the heart. Izuku took it as memories flashed before his eyes. Before he uttered what he just took. The black heart, Izuku and Astrid's cave at the rock-covered entrance of the cave. Astrid was trying to excavate every rock using her bare hands, but some are too heavy to even pick him. It took her almost 5 minutes just to take several down, but there's just too many, not even a small gap, to peer through what's inside. Her hands were already shaking. No, I can't lose you. Please be all right, please be fine. She kept repeating the same sentence for the past 5 minutes, as tears were falling down her face. I can't lose you. You're the only one I have, please be okay. She was desperate. She wanted to help, she wanted to make sure Izuku was okay and fine. In Odin's name, Izuku, please be okay. Her frustration was growing. Her inability to have strength made her do something instinctually. She punched the boulders with her fist, as for a second her whole body was covered by white arcs of lightning. As a huge explosion shook the entire cave and destroyed the boulders covering the entrance. Well, what was that? Isn't this amazement at what she just did? Then the sudden realization. Izuku, this is his quirk. Then what happened to him if I have it now? She was praying nothing really did happen to him. So she rushed inside, dodging some fallen debris. If I have it, then no. I don't want that. I don't want him gone. He's the only one I have. She punched some debris away, and dodging some spikes, seeing Izuku there laying unconscious, she charged faster to him, dodging some spiky stalactites. I got you. Astrid protected Izuku from falling stalactites, punching them away, breaking apart from the power behind her punches. Seeing it's safe, she straddled Izuku's unconscious body and rested Izuku by her arms. It stayed with him, Astrid said while clutching Izuku's arm, seeing the shadowy substance is still there. But now something new shocked her from seeing Izuku's appearance. His chest, what's this glowing purple light on it? She saw it's the glowing purple light on Izuku's chest. It's all right. Everything's fine now. I won't leave you. Not now, not ever. She rested her head on Izuku's chest. He doesn't have a heartbeat, but he's alive. He's still breathing. So how? A face of confusion masked Astrid's face. How did this even happen? But no, I should be grateful. He won't be leaving me behind. She stayed there, resting on Izuku's chest. This quirk, it really takes a T-dash. She lost consciousness. The backlash of one for all was too much for her that it left her exhausted. I'm sorry, Hiccup, I can't go home anymore. I'm stuck in this place with no one to lean on except him and worried for someone who isn't you. I don't even know what I'm feeling right now, her mind goes through with her feelings, the said feelings she's hiding for the past weeks. All I know is that I felt the same thing when you were blasted by ice by that alpha. Seeing Izuku going through that agony, I couldn't lose him. Hiccup, my own feelings are betraying me. He's the only one I have. She unconsciously let out some stream of tears while imagining Izuku dying and leaving her like how she left Hiccup and her family back in Burke. I'm sorry, Hiccup. I don't want to lose someone again. It ended with my uncle. I don't want to lose Izuku too. Little did she know. Her intense attraction grew into infatuation. She doesn't know it, but the weeks that passed. Her feelings are growing stronger. Her infatuation has lingering feelings of attachment because Izuku is the only one she has. She started shaking in her sleep, as Izuku's arms snaked on her figure as he embraced her by instinct. Both welcomed the warmth, as they slept their own exhaustion away. Time skipped 2 months after Izuku died. Ever since losing the connection with One for All, their deduction is Izuku Midoriya has long passed to the afterlife, taking One for All with him. Meanwhile, All for One didn't believe the information given by Aoyama Yuga, since All for One could see Sense One for All through their connection. It's faint, but it's still there. Someone is actively keeping the quirk at bay, and he knows it. He doesn't particularly know who has the quirk now, but it's still there, still existing after the 9th's death. He will find it. I will not stop until I get that quirk. It belongs to me no matter how many successors there are. The quirk's only and rightful owner is me. All for One's thought, imagining who could be the new wielder as he got one dark thought about what he'll do. No matter who you gave it to, Izuku Midoriya, I will find them, and they will suffer the same fate as you and the rest of your predecessors. His eyes glowed purple, the All for One quirk signifying its hunger for power. I already took you down by giving you that quirk that destroys you from the inside. What's one more successor to the list? The 200-year-old living fossil couldn't help but chuckle, imagining how he'll end the 10th wielder. Scene change. It's been 2 months. Astrid already lost all hope of going back home and embraced her new life here, enjoying the mall and other stuff that for her sounds futuristic. In this past month, she had control of One for All, far powerful than when Izuku had it, but harder to control. The highest percentage she could endure right now is 10%, which is equivalent to Izuku's 30%. Yes, the quirk is 3 times stronger with her than what Izuku had. He's helping her train, while he also trains the newfound abilities he gained from Force Quirk Awakening when he took the Black Heart. He has access to this dimension where he was outcast at first. Flashback 2 days after his awakening, Izuku found himself in a world of shadows, where creatures of unknown origins roam free, from goblins, knights, dragons, angels, even humans who has the same appearance as him. Shadowy limbs and glowing purple light all over their bodies. Where am I? He asked no one, seeing so many races of creatures. What is this place? Where is this place? He surveyed the place. Who are you? You don't belong here. You're not one of my liege's shadows, are you? Izuku glanced behind him and saw a knight, adorned in the same dark shadowy armor with his eyes glowing purple. Icha, who are you? Where am I? Izuku asked the knight. Lost human, I am Igris, the sword of the Shadow Monarch. Tell me, how did you found yourself here? The knight, known as Igris, asked, eyeing Izuku up and down. And no idea. I just woke up here. By hearing that, the knight let out a sigh. You seem to be telling the truth. Seeing you're only in your astral form, then it's a given you're having a dream in your real world. But no matter, we'll get to the bottom of th. Igris's dialogue was cut short when a man landed near them. By appearance, the man has nothing noteworthy, a black jacket and black cargo pants, although if the glowing purple eyes were an indication this man isn't human either, the fact that even Igris kneels down to the man. My liege, exclaimed by the kneeling Igris. It's all right, Igris. I will handle the rest here. You can go back now. By his command, Igris retreated to the training field. Izuku couldn't help but feeling an icy shiver down his spine. He couldn't shake off the fear he's getting from this man. I've been waiting, Izuku Midoriya. He said, much to Izuku's surprise. You know who I am. How? Izuku asked. I do, since the black heart you took was a key for you to access this world. The man goes circles around Izuku. Dahlia was the real owner of that quirk. In your world, quirks grew to unprecedented degree that one manifested with the ability to access my domain. He explained, while Izuku is still processing it. You see, Izuku Midoriya, through the quirk I knew what happened to you, how this all for one person manipulated you, how he passed this quirk down to you through a letter in order to break you. The man continues to circle around Izuku, while Izuku followed him, locking eyes with him. How Aoyama Yuga was the one he used to break you, to give you that letter, so by having the quirk you'll slowly break apart. He walks closer to Izuku, piece by piece until you would doubt yourself. Why am I worthy of One for All? Why am I All Might's successor? Isn't that your train of thoughts? Izuku, hearing that, fell on his own, but hitting the ground below. He manipulated me. Aoyama betrayed me. He saw the man nodding. Yes, he did. He checkmated you, but he didn't win the war, yet Izuku Midoriya. Izuku saw the man, reached his hand out for him. Become part of my army, Izuku Midoriya, the army of shadows under me, the Shadow Monarch. Izuku took the hand, and he was helped standing up. I accept, is all Izuku could say. He has no options. He only has this unknown power inside him to tame, since he lost one for all. He saw the man, a sincere smile. It was faint, but it was there. Izuku Midoriya. The man reached for Izuku's head and uttered a single word that destroyed the very foundations of Izuku's existence. Arise, unnamed island near Japanese coast. Izuku in Astrid's cave for the past 2 weeks after becoming the Shadow Monarch soldier, where he gained the class, Elite Knight. He's a special case, since he has a system where the monarch himself and his generals would give him a quest, and if he does the quest, he gains rewards from them. So far, Izuku received a quest from Mashal Baru, a quest to watch K-drama of Izuku's world. Izuku didn't know why, but he did it, gaining a reward of Shadow Side for only watching his local world K-drama. Although he's confused, he still respects the wishes of his superiors. I don't even know why Sir Baru wanted me to watch K-drama, but I guess it's worth the time binge watching it on my phone. Izuku thought while swinging his shadow scythe. But who am I to judge? He leaped up high and did a 360-degree spin using his scythe to do a slashing motion, sending a wave of highly condensed purple shadow energy that cut through the boulder like it's butter. Hey, Izuku, do you have an axe on you I could borrow? I want to train too. I'll get rusty if I don't. Astrid asked, wishing that Izuku did have an axe. I donned dash. His dialogue was cut short when a quest appeared in front of him. Quest by Mashal Baru. Flirt with the maiden and gain the axe used by the orcs. Just what I need. Thanks, Sir Baru. Izuku thanked his superior for the quest, but realized the quest itself. Flirt. He looked with a deadpan expression. Huh, I think I heard you say no. Sorry, I asked for the dash. She was about to give up, but Izuku's eyes looking into hers didn't help. Rusty. Oh, please. You're far from rusty, Astrid Hofferson. I doubt you even need to train. Izuku walked to her and got his face inches away from Astrid's. Why does a perfect woman even need to be more perfect? He said, then he got punched in the side for flirting with her. Quest. Accomplished. The reward has been transferred to the shadow inventory of Izuku Midoriya, Elite Knight. Stop that. You're flattering me too much, she exclaimed after punching him. Izuku's eyebrow furrowed. I'm not imaging things right. She just stuttered and is flustered. His mind was overloading at the imagination of Astrid being a flustered mess. I was joking. Geez, come on. I'll bring out your axe so you could train. Izuku opened his inventory and brought out an axe made of highly dense steel. Here, have fun with it, go nuts. Without a second thought, Astrid grabbed the axe and ran outside. Izuku focused on her face. He saw how happy she was while being given that axe. Thanks. You're the best. As her figure fades away from the distance. Women, he said while sipping a cup of tea that no one knows came from. Back to training, I guess, so if I suddenly Izuku did a split, and use my free hand to Izuku puts his hand on the ground and balance himself, his feet upwards. Propel myself upwards. His hand recoils, and he was propelled upwards, and he does a mid-air backflip. And let gravity take control of my scythe. He lets his scythe go, and he landed on his feet with his free hand. And wait for my scythe. The scythe comes back down and landed perfectly back on his hand, and he tightly gripped it. Then slash. His swift motion, he does a slash, sending another wave of energy that slices through a huge boulder. Efficiency and finesse. He stood there looking so smug about what he just did. Meanwhile, with Astrid, she's currently training to wield the huge axe. This thing is so heavy. How did he even casually lifted it by one hand? She asked herself, still confused how Izuku lifted it so casually. Doesn't matter. I just have to work more harder. Then she closed her eyes and focused her mind. Focus, as memories flash before her. You have to focus, apply it to every parts of your body, every limbs. In order to MSTR one for all, you have to share both will and strength, or it will consume you. Just let it flow like a calm river, Astrid, let it flow. I did it, she exclaimed, feeling the power all over her body. As streaks of white lightning began to dance all over her entire body. I managed to get it working. One for all really is amazing. It turns people into gods in the mythos, she exclaimed, excited about her predicament. I have lighting like Thor, strength of Tyr, but I need durability like Izuku said. So I need to get used to this kind of pain all over my body, she smiled. Whenever Izuku teaches something, she always enjoys those moments. With him, how doesn't sound so bad? Astrid spoke. With who doesn't so bad, Ms. Hofferson? Izuku, who was leaning on a tree, asked. HHH. By freight, she lashed out with an air punch towards where Izuku is. He simply sliced through the air current, and it ceased to exist as the breeze calmed. You scared me. Don't do that again, she reprimands him. Oh, the most appealing Viking woman, scared. Would have fooled me, he sarcastically said, earning her a tick mark on her forehead. Hey, I said stop with the flirting flattery, the dash, she yelled. What? Afraid that I'm joking? Or, he flashed towards her, or afraid you'll like it. His face was so close to hers that even a single bread wouldn't fit through the gaps. Another punch to the shoulder for Izuku, and he took it while chuckling. I forgot how durable you are, you muttonhead. Her fist was red. Izuku didn't want to mess with her more. He's just worried for her. I'm really sorry you hurt your hand. He took Astrid's fist and inspected it. Are you okay? He asked, worried. I'm fine. Stop worrying, will you? It's just a little redness. It'll go away soon, she said, while Izuku took both her hands. I'm sorry, really I am. He kissed her hand while they both locked eyes. Why do you always do that? Why are you always so worried for me? Why does my heart keep beating faster when you show how important I am to you? Astrid couldn't help but blush as her heart was touched. If you keep doing that, I would fall for you. She bit her lip, trying to hide her blush from Izuku. Scene change, MH news station. Everyone, we have a very, very bad news for today. The villain known as All for One had emerged. The reporter brought out a USB and let his assistant put it into the drive. This is the bad news of video from the drive played. All for One is sitting on his throne, littered with bodies of pro heroes that are in the top 100s Japan. I hereby declare a coup d'etat. This fragile foundation the Hero Society has built is about to crumble down. We see him smiling. He wasn't just a masked man anymore. He let the world to see his mangled face. No eyes, no nose, just a mouth. I've already destroyed the problems in my plans. A hopeful hero already died due to my genius mind, planting a seed of doubt inside his mind, and watch him destroy himself. He took his life. The camera shows how All for One laughed. Izuku Midoriya, the successor of the symbol of peace, is no more. Gone. He killed himself thanks to the quirk I planted in him. The emotionally unstable boy died. However, he still transferred the quirk to someone else, although I think that wielder is weak. No control of the torch passed down to them by Izuku Midoriya. So I send this message. Give up and surrender one for all to me, so your death will be painless. I give you 1 day. All for One took the camera and made us closer to him as he showed his chilling villainous smile. Your move, 10th. As the feed cuts off, the video ends. The reporter sat there, shaking at hearing and seeing the horrific message sent by All for One. There you have it, folks. All for One declared war against Hero Society. The reporter said, still fear evident in his voice. Scene change / time skip 3 hours after training. Izuku and Astrid were sitting next to each other. Astrid, growing bolder by the minute, scooted over to Izuku. Hey, can I rest on you? She asked. Sure. Have it your way, Astrid. He gave permission, and she rested her head on Izuku's shoulder. I'll stay here close to you, where I feel safe, she said, while feeling her eyes already sleeping from all those training they did. So please, don't leave me, okay? She pleaded, and Izuku wrapped his arms around her. I promise, he said, as Astrid smiled, and Izuku moved her head from his shoulder to his chest. Feeling comfort, Astrid went ahead and slept on Izuku's chest, his warm arms wrapped around her. Good night. Astrid, Izuku's lips curled. He wanted to say something, he wanted to let it out. He could only ruffle her hair and spoke his thoughts. I love you. The next day, Izuku woke up to 2 surprises. first his body changed. The purple parts of his body became green, as now his body made of pitch-black shadow and glowing green energy. He's slowly branching from the power of the Shadow Monarch. And the second one is that he's cuddling with Astrid. How did this even happen? I swear she was on my chest sound asleep. How did we get into this position? Izuku asked himself. Without his knowledge, purple and black shadow was slowly getting smaller and smaller at the corner of their cave. Didn't see, Izuku shot back. Looking around, he was on guard. I swear I heard something. Seeing nothing around, he dropped his guard. Must be the wind or something. I'm getting paranoid. He gave Astrid Hair a single slide and started caressing her back, tracing her neck down to the end of her spine. You really are an angel when you're asleep. When awake, though, nah. Still an angel, I don't have a death wish. He got some PTSD when Astrid got too flustered and almost killed him for teasing her too much. I hope you didn't hear what I said to you back there yesterday. He paused. He knew that Astrid felt something towards him, but he knew that back then she couldn't let go just yet. Going closer to her ear, Izuku whispered, I will wait for you until that place in your heart isn't occupied. I will wait. He gave her a quick kiss on the cheeks. She woke up. Astrid woke up. She's locking eyes with Izuku, who was starting to share. Hey Astrid, how are you? He greeted her. She didn't care what he was saying and only wrapped her arms around Izuku's torso. 5 more minutes. She forcefully made Izuku lay back down with her. Astrid's arms still coiled around his torso. Back sleep, Izuku. She got comfortable back on Izuku's chest and went back to sleep, leaving a confused Izuku, slowly closing and opening his eyes. Just what are we? Astrid. He's hopeful that one day she'd love him too. He knows, deep inside him, he could never replace Hiccup as the first love. But the pride in him as a man wants to do more, to be the man she needs and wants. Is there really a chance with the two of us? He asked. No one. But for a moment, when Izuku said that, Astrid slowly looks up, opening her eyes and locking them with Izuku's glowing emerald eyes. But I don't know how you really feel, Izuku. Izuku was shocked. She was listening to him. He really didn't think about it clearly when he said all those things. While you were listening, he saw her nod. I was Izuku's side after hearing her reply. Look, Astrid, I really don't have what it takes. My own crush choose my bully over me. I mean, what good is there for women to even consider me? He paused, as Astrid was about to butt in and deny his claim about himself being not noteworthy. You see, Astrid, I could never be as great as a man Hiccup was. I'm just, well, a Deku, someone useful dash. He got cut off by Astrid, who forced his face to look at him. She cupped both his cheeks. Listen, I don't ever want to hear you talking down on yourself ever again. Izuku, truth is, I love you too. Just yesterday it made my heart flutter when you said I love you after you ruffle my hair. Izuku's eyes widened. She heard all of it. Izuku, I know you can't be Hiccup. Izuku, you're you. Just be who you are. Be the man who saved me from those collapsing pillars. Be the same man who risked his life for me. Be the same man who stayed in this cave with me for months. She didn't hesitate and brought Izuku's face close to hers. As time slowed, their lips united, their feelings aligned. As their lips locked, their relationship was solidified. Their lips parted for a moment. Does this mean? Izuku paused, and Astrid placed her finger on his lips. Yes, Izuku. Yes, we are, as she continued, and locked lips with him again, this time more passionate than ever. The appealing journey of today could only begin when both at the same time let go of yesterday. Izuku and Astrid had learned to lean on one another, letting go of both their past to walk hand in hand and side by side with one another, as both were the new volume of a book of each other's lives. They parted, leaving a trail of saliva as both locked eyes with one another. I love you, both said in unison. Scene change. Hours later, Izuku decided to take Astrid with him to get some clothes, their very first official date. His face is covered by a mask he borrowed from Tusk. Got anything you wanted, Astrid? Izuku asked, Astrid clinging on his left arm. Underwear, I think I really need a set of those. She answered a bit embarrassed. Sure, let's get some for you. I think Victoria's Secret is around the corner. Astrid's eyebrow furrowed. Whose secret now? She asked, a bit jealous hearing some girl's name come out of Izuku's mouth. PFTTD, ha ha. It's a brand of clothing and perfume, Astrid. He replied, while Astrid let out a very innocent, "Oh, it's cute seeing you jealous," at a brand no less. Izuku chuckled, while Astrid, having enough of the teasing, punched him in the shoulder. "Ouch. It doesn't hurt, but still ouch," he slyly said, while nudging her side. "Drama queen," she rolled her eyes and dragged Izuku towards the said store brand. Then for a moment, Astrid stopped. "Izuku, isn't that your classmates?" she asked while pointing at a corner. "SHD, it's Uraraka and Bakugo." He squirmed, trying to run away from there, booking it like hell and run, but Astrid stopped him. "Don't run. You have a mask, just calm down. Let's not waste our date because of them. You have me now." She tightened her grip on his hand. Then Izuku relaxed and felt the comfort her words gave to him. "Thanks, Astrid. Thanks, Shadow Monarch, you're here with me." She flicked him on the forehead for being such a wuss for seeing his classmates. "Yeah, babe. I guess that old fossil all for one is really desperate at this point, who would even declare war on live TV." The conversation between Ochako and Bakugo as they passed by Izuku and Astrid. "TF kind of weirdo uses that weird mask," was Bakugo's comment on Izuku's mask. "Just shut up, don't start anything here." He was dragged away by Uraraka before anything could happen. As they got away, Izuku snarled at Katsuki's remarks. "Tis better guy than me, huh? Well let down." He side-eyed the couple. "Come on, just ignore those two." Astrid dragged him away. "Yeah, you're right, we should continue our date. Wasting our time with them isn't worth it." As he happily smiled while being dragged away by Astrid. Scene change: Island of Berk, 2 months after Astrid's disappearance. The gang found a woman with blonde hair like Astrid, but the woman, when they got to Berk, attacked, thinking the gang and Hiccup were her enemies. As weeks, then a month, the woman adapted to this new world unknown to her. She lives with Hiccup and Valka, although being visited by Snotlout and being flirted by him caused the woman some headache. She only has an eye on one man, Hiccup Haddock, the chief of the Berkians. "You helped me, now it's time I help you." The woman ruffled the sleeping Hiccup's hair. She saw how broken he was. Losing Astrid took a blow in Hiccup's mental state. She inched closer. "Thank you for saving me in that cave," she whispered. "Now let me help you." She looks at Hiccup. His innocence yet broken expression while having a nightmare caused her to put her hand on the man's chest. "Let me thaw your frozen heart, Hiccup." Back at Berk, it's been months since Astrid's disappearance, and with the arrival of Elsa in his life, Hiccup couldn't be more confused and broken at his current situation. He had spent exactly 5 months without Astrid in his life, and Elsa came 2 months after Astrid's disappearance. He's chucking it up that whatever happened to Astrid must have happened to Elsa too, but Elsa was sent to Berk while Astrid was sent to somewhere unknown. Hiccup had given up after 2 months of Astrid's disappearance. No matter how he searched the archipelago with his dragons, a whole flock of dragons scattered all over the archipelago, but still no signs of her anywhere. It's been 5 months, Astrid, and here I am having my heart beat for a woman who isn't you. Hiccup held his head in frustration. Just what is wrong with me? He swiped away the Book of Dragons in his fury. Why is my heart beating so fast when I'm with her, with Elsa? He sighed and looked at the ceiling of his house. I don't know how I feel. He slammed his hands on his desk. You're moving on, Hiccup. That's what you're feeling right now. Then Hiccup glanced at his door and saw black hair, slim body. Heather, what are you doing here? Hiccup asked. Just checking on our dear chief. You know my brother would hate to see you that way, Hiccup. He sees you as his brother. She explained. It's time, Hiccup. Heather walked towards Hiccup and sat on his bed. Sometimes you have to let go or it will consume you. She stood and rested her hand on Hiccup's shoulder. Astrid's is in a better place now, Hiccup. Wallowing in your room won't bring her back. He swiped away Heather's hand. Can you blame me? I don't even think it's love anymore. I'm just clinging to the memories I had with her, with Astrid. He slumped back down on his chair. And it's toxic, Hiccup. You're chaining yourself down to mere memories of you guys together. She said, I know it's painful, Hiccup, losing people you love, but sometimes you need to give yourself a chance. Give yourself the chance to love again and not hide away in your room for comfort. Heather saw the tears in Hiccup's eyes. I know. She heard Hiccup mumble to himself. Be honest with me, Hiccup. Does your heart still beat for her, or there's someone new? Heather asked. and she saw Hiccup flinched when mentioning about someone else. I met someone. Hearing that, Heather smiled a bit. She knew the bond Hiccup and Astrid had, and for some time, she's there to see it. But now Hiccup's shield is cracking. Good Aunt. Heather urged him to continue. Just being honest with myself. She's pretty, her blonde hair as shiny as polished Gronkel iron, and her eyes, sometimes I got myself captivated by it. He heard a light chuckle from Heather. Ha-ha. There we go, Hiccup. Now, that's the spirit. I know it's hard, but please take my word into account and give yourself a chance. To her surprise, Heather saw Hiccup nodding his head. Hiccup was looking at both his hands. Maybe I should have Astrid arrived the same way as Elsa. I just hope someone is taking care of her the way we're taking care of Elsa. Heather saw him. The wallowing, depressed chief of Berk smiled. See, why don't you both get to know each other better, open a good conversation, and start there? Why not try teaching her Dragonese, the language of dragons? Heather saw Hiccup's eyes light up. You're right, you're right. Hiccup exclaimed and tightly hugged Heather. You're a lifesaver, Heather, thank you. Hiccup exclaimed as Heather saw him running out of the room, and his target is Elsa, who's at the dragon arena. You really are hopeless, Hiccup. She touched her chest on top of her heart. And I'm hopeless for you too. A single tear came down from her cheeks. At least you're not alone anymore. She spoke, her voice sobbing. I just hope this Elsa takes good care of you. She smiled, even with the tears dripping down her face. Heather stood there looking out the window with a content look on her face. I wish I could find someone too, said Heather with a hopeful expression on her delicate face. Scene change, Dragon Arena. New Berk. Hiccup sat next to Elsa, who was listening to him explaining words in Dragonese. She's an avid listener, but her mind wasn't in the lesson but to him, to Hiccup. It's good to see you, so energized like how your friends described you. Her thoughts lingered on Hiccup's face and how happy he looks while explaining some things to her. So, yeah, translation of fish needs a good growl at the end. Are you listening, Elsa? He asked, the girl who was too fixated at him. Oh yeah, I am. Continue, she protested. If you say so. He gave up and didn't said anything further. Then, an hour passed as the lesson continued, and Hiccup got more and more closer to Elsa, who seemed to be very interested in the lessons. At one point, their hands touched. Not one of them retracts their hand. They didn't move it away as they simply look at each other. Both knew their relationship wasn't just going to be casual, but far deeper, as the tale of the Viking chief of the Berkians and the Queen of Ice, and formerly of Arendelle, continues with guiding each other on this world full of dragons and Vikings, having each other's backs at every step they take. As the looming threat of Argo the Destroyer slowly breathed down their necks, they only have a few months to prepare against the worst version of Drago Bloodfist, Argo the Tamer of the Purple Death. Scene change, unnamed island near Japanese coast Izuku in Astrid's cave. They just arrived a few hours ago after shopping, and Astrid was so excited to try her new Viking clothes. She even stole Izuku's scythe just to take a picture with her new attire. Looks good, Astrid. You do look flat. He was hit by his own scythe in the head. Ouch. He whined. What were you about to say? She asked, ominous aura behind her, as Izuku gulped in fear the woman he loves. Nothing. I feel I made an error of some kind. Izuku said while scratching his cheek. Good, she huffed. I was joking, come on. Izuku said while hugging her legs like a koala. Don't give me the eyes. I swear, Izuku, if you give me the E-dash, she protested as Izuku looks at her with puppy dog eyes. Fine, I forgive you trying to comment about my chest. She ruffles his hair, yay. Izuku exclaimed, still hugging Astrid's legs. Plus, you know chest isn't everything in a woman, Astrid. Izuku said, already standing as he smiled at her. What I want in a woman is far important than chest. His finger traced her chest, then it landed on where her heart is. It's this. This is far more important than any beauty, big chest, or charm that a woman can give. Her heartbeat got faster than ever. Izuku really does know his way with words. This is important, Astrid, because this is the real you, not your body, not your appealing face. But the real you is inside there. His flattery for her got the best of her as she lunged on Izuku. Your flattering can't get you anywhere, Izuku, she said before hugging him. But it can get me to your lips. Izuku replied before almost kissing Astrid since he got punched. That's for almost saying my chest is flat. She retracts her fist. Izuku stumbled for a moment. Ow! What the he dash? Izuku was grabbed by his collar and got kissed passionately by Astrid before their lips parted after a good minute of nothing but kissing, a little bit of tongue action. And that's for everything else. She let go of his collar and walked away, giggling to herself, leaving Izuku there standing still like an ice sculpture. I don't know what to feel, he said while biting his lip, before realizing his shadow. A few knights in his shadow were giving him a few thumbs up. I swear you men soldiers enjoy drama too much. He stomped on his shadow as the knights and mages disappeared. Unnamed island near Japanese coast, Izuku and Astrid's cave. It's the next day. It's currently 7:07 a.m. and Izuku was given a notification from the shadow system. Notification: Commander Grade Kaisel would like to be your mount. Yes or no? Commander Grade. That's a grade higher than me. Could I really summon a superior again? Izuku's lovely morning was bombarded by his notification and is currently contemplating if he should accept this one. It's an opportunity, so why not? He thought. Yes, I accept, he said as two eyes locked eyes with him through his shadow. You must be Kaisel. I'm sorry, sir, but you'll have to wait for the right time to be summoned. Again, sorry, sir. Izuku said, profusely apologizing to someone higher than him. He growled. And huff of the piercing gaze of the figure within his shadow. Thank God that one is very appreciative and welcoming. Last time I summoned a superior, General Greed chased me straight to Japan for interrupting his training. Izuku by instinct thanked God out of the blue. He's somewhat scared of some of his superiors in the Shadow Army. Scene change: Izuku took Astrid for a peeling date across the skies. The two on top of Kaisel, Izuku's superior and now a shadow under him. For some odd reason, Kaisel immediately took a liking of Astrid. The wyvern acted like a domesticated puppy whenever Astrid is near. The duo were enjoying the night sky. As for a few minutes, they saw what's below. Fire, Izuku asked, seeing several burning buildings. Izuku, I think this is something you call a villain attack, is it? Astrid asked, and Izuku nodded. Yeah, it is, I'm sure of it. Kaisel land us and we need to find out what's really happening. The giant shadow dragon obliged and landed them on Japanese soil. What's happening here? Izuku was pushed by civilians, trying to flee away from the chaos that's ensuing. Run. Run, the villains had gone rampant. There is no symbol, no heroes to save us. A random civilian shouts, fear in their voice. So that's what's happening here. Izuku, let's help these poor people. Astrid said and glanced to Izuku, who was already gone. And is gone. Since I'm not from here, I could bash their heads and right. Astrid asked herself, her Viking mindset already kicking as she took out Izuku's scythe. Whoa! She exclaimed while running towards a fray, like a bloodthirsty woman that she is. It did tone down when she became a dragon rider, but her bloodthirsty nature as a Viking is still there. So she ran, with scythe in hand, ready to murder villains like it's a normal Tuesday stroll. Where are you, villains? Let me cave in your skulls, was her yell before she became a distant figure from Kaisel's view. Scene change: Izuku punched a villain in the gut. Then he summoned a set of daggers and cleave another villain's leg who was trying to hit Izuku from him. Then Izuku got stabbed. Huh, you're dead, you brat. Izuku smiled at that man, not sincerely, but one of malice and sinister. Did you really think I would die because you killed me? The villain retracted his knife and saw it. What's happening? Why are you not bleeding? I stabbed you. The villain shouts as Izuku's wound didn't have a single drop of BLD. But something out of the wound began to ooze out. From Izuku's wound, shadow substance began to cover it. Then it disappears along with his wound. You can't kill me. In a blur, Izuku disappeared as the man looks at the itchy pain in his chest. There, he froze. His heart was in Izuku's hand. How heartless! Izuku said sarcastically before clenching the man's heart as it pops from the pressure of Izuku's hand. Now's it's literal, he said before throwing the crumbled heart. The villain lost the lights in his eyes and falls down. Dead. That's my first time killing. Why do I like that feeling? Must be because they're villains, he said before jumping upwards, trying to spot more villains. There another one. And he sent a foot soldier knight who stabbed the man in the gut. There two on your right. Izuku shouts, pointing at a direction for his knight to follow. Good. As Izuku saw the knight, cleaving through a villain like they were butter. Good job, Knight B. Izuku congratulates the knight. I wonder how Astrid is doing. He thought, I'm sure she's doing fine. She's a nice girl, maybe she's helping civilians. He added, scene change, a harmonic screams of agony echoes throughout town, as Astrid went on a murder spree on these villains. Pretty lady, why don't you join our side? I swear you'll be satisfied when you're with us. A villain spoke while looking down at Astrid before licking his lips, seeing Astrid's as something tantalizing. Gross. Using one for all at 5%, Astrid leaped at the man's direction and cleanly sliced through him like butter. Izuku was. The man's like groan of agony as his torso separated from the rest of his body. I hate men like you, you're gross. You're like young Snotlout, but worse. She spat at the man's severed corpse. She doesn't got a single idea, but the size she borrowed from Izuku has an active skill. BLD Frenzy, which brings out the bloodthirsty nature of the user. It brings it out, then boosts that longing. In exchange for plus 30% strength. Wait, I can locate these villains now. I'm sure 3 villains are around that corner. Her eyes wandered at said corner, and she ran for it, towards the corner, her weapon ready. Lo and behold, there was 3 villains, and they're undressing a girl, as old as Astrid. The girl was begging, terrified of what will happen to her now. Let that woman go, Astrid commanded. Oh, look, some wants to get in on the fun, the scarred left eye man said. Scurry along, Missy, be back later after we're done with this one. The one with the dragon tattoo in his cheek said. Please help me, the girl begged. You son of a half-troll. Astrid cursed under her breath. Close your eyes. This'll be bloody, Astrid said to the poor girl, and she did. The moment Astrid saw the girl close her eye, one of the 3 villains' head flew off. Kajuro. You, blonde dash, you'll pay for killing Kajuro. The dragon tattooed one lunged at Astrid, but she does a front barrel roll and dodged the sharp nail like projectiles that barely graze her. I need more power. The arcs surrounding her body became sharper, far more arcs of lightning than usual. 7%, Astrid muttered under her breath, and she lunged at the man with the scar first. Behind you, Ryu, dash. The moment the villain saw Astrid behind his buddy, he's confused why a scythe suddenly embedded in his chest from the back. You son of a b dash. Last one wanted to yell, but his head flew away before he could finish what he's about to say. Don't open your eyes yet. I'll drag you away from this sight first. Astrid dragged the poor girl to a safe place. There, you can open them now. The girl opened her eyes and saw Astrid. Thank you, miss, she exclaimed. Astrid nodded. No problem. Then, Astrid jumps away using 7% of one for all. Now, where did that boyfriend of mine have gone to? I hope he doesn't do anything moronic, Astrid muttered, huffing at the thought of Izuku doing dumb things again, as he leaped building to building trying to find Izuku's green, unkempt hair from the streets. Then she found him in one street, mountains of dead villains under his feet, a solemn look on his face while looking down on those corpses. I just jinxed it, as she looks at Izuku's arm. He was clutching on a severed arm. Then Astrid landed beside him, and heard him say, Damn it, that Krusty got the chance to run away, is all she heard him say, as he threw the severed arm away. Krusty dash, Astrid asked, then he glanced at her. Oh, someone who's under all for one's thumb, the cry-baby I met at the USJ and the mall. Astrid nodded at a short story. Are there any villains left? She asked Izuku. No, I think there's none left since I sent my night soldiers to make sure not one of them still breathes. By the way, you had fun, he informed and asked Astrid. He then saw Astrid nodding excitedly. Yeah, I saved the girl for what do you call him again? I think it's the R8 dash. Izuku covered her mouth before she could finish her sentence. Okay, I get it. Just don't explain that. His hand was still over her mouth, and she nodded. So, want to get back home, or you have some plans? Astrid asked, contemplating Izuku. I think I have somewhere we need to visit together. I want you to meet my mother since we're already here, Izuku informed her. Oh, finally. I can't wait to meet the best mother this world has. Astrid held Izuku's hand and smiled at him, making her body closer to Izuku. He smiled at that. Let's go, Astrid. I know Mom will love to meet you. Scene change. Izuku had brought Astrid to his mother to Izuku Midoriya. Astrid was a little bit confused. Where's your mother, Izu? Then she followed Izuku's hand, and it pointed to a private resting place where an urn was placed at the center and a picture of a green-haired woman beside it. Izuku, I don't understand. She's really confused. Why would Izuku point at a picture and call her mother? Astrid, Izuku brought her into a hug. He knows Astrid's confusion is genuine. He knew their ritual was far different from them. Astrid, that's my mom. This is her resting place, Astrid. She's dead. Astrid just realized what he meant, and she felt Izuku tightening the embrace. Izuku's hand landed on the glass that separated him and his mother. Mom, I'm back, Mom. I want you to meet someone. Izuku kissed Astrid's cheeks. Mom, I want you to meet my girlfriend. Mom, this is Astrid. Astrid also rested her hand on the glass. Hello, my name is Astrid Hofferson, Izuku's girlfriend. I'm glad I met you today. While I'm with Izuku, I always wanted to meet the woman who raised Izuku right. I wish we could talk, get to know each other. I want to make a promise with you, ma'am. Izuku rested his hand on Astrid's hand that was touching the glass. I promise you, ma'am, I will be the best girlfriend and soon wife. If Izuku takes me, I promise to keep Izuku in line and prevent him from doing anything moronic. Astrid smiled. Izuku really did miss his mother, and Astrid finally met the woman who gave BRTH to Izuku and raised him to the man that he is. Little did they know, I miss you, Mom, a figure, transparent, a figure of Izuku Midoriya, was hugging both of them, her face full of happiness. I'm proud of you, Izuku. A cool breeze passed by Izuku and Astrid as the two smiled. Kamino Ward villain based. Tamura, what happened to you? How did the plan go? All for One asked his student while looking at the stump where his student's arm should be. And what happened to your arm, Tamura? All for One added, pointing at his student's arm. Some shadow took it off, Mr. He said it's payment for what you did and is coming for your spy. Tamura, Shigaraki retorted, causing All for One to raise his eyebrow. Izuku Midoriya. It couldn't be. My brother's quirk already have passed to the 10th. Wielder, how he pondered. Whoever he is, Mr. is strong. He didn't got affected by my quirk. I saw it myself. He didn't got decayed. Yelled by a furious Tamura. Flashback. It's been a while, Tamura. Or should I call you Tenko now? Which is it? The left or the right? The figure clad in armor of shadows spoke, sending shivers down Tamura's spine. Who are you? He yelled in frustration, seeing his army of villains dead on the man's feet. You're debt collector, the figure yelled. As before, even Tamura could react. Kurogiri warped him away ever since the Nomu detected the danger the figure posed. Diaminu, yelled by Tamura, grasping his other arm, which was grabbed by the figure and cleaved it off. No time. Be safe, young Mstr. Kurogiri said before he too disappeared. We'll see each other soon. Your appearance can lie, but your soul can't. Oboro Shirakumo, as dread covered Kurogiri before he warped away along with Tamura. Flashback. Yendi. He called me by a name, Mstr. Does Oboro Shirakumo ring a bell, Mstr? Kurogiri asked his Mstr. All for One, who got wide-eyed if he got an eye to widen. How does Izuku Midoriya know so much about us? All for One. In the deepest pits of his soul, he felt dread. The shadow don't lie. All for One. We'll see one another again next time. I'll separate your spine from your body. The corner of the room where it was dark, a voice spoke. Dabi, who was just listening on them, fired at the corner. Who's there? He yelled as he stopped his blue flames to wait for a response. You'll have your time too. They all saw green eyes within the dark shadow. I'll come to collect you too. The shadow began to get smaller as it retreated into the void. Until next time, Tenko Shimura, Tuya, Todoroki, your time will come. I will come. The shadow spoke before it disappears. Get back here, you dash. Dabi fired another valley of flames. You idiot, you're going to burn this DMN place. Tamura stopped him. For a moment that the flames subside, there was no one. He's coming for us all. All for One, with dread in his tone. He was already dealing with heroes now. Izuku Midoriya, a third party, will come for their heads too. He's not coming to imprison us. He's here to reap our souls. All for One's hands were shaking. The Demon King felt true fear for the very first time. As Tamura's knee weakened and he hit the hard floor. Let him come, we'll kill him for good. Isn't that right, Sensei? Tamura asked, All for One, who didn't speak back, just staring at where the shadowy figure was. Scene change, unnamed island near Japanese coast. Izuku and Astrid's cave. Izuku was at the bonfire, eyes closed as if he was focusing about something. Are you okay, Izuku? His girlfriend Astrid asked as she rested her whole body in Izuku's embrace, her head on Izuku's chest. Why are you grinning like a moron? She asked. Oh, nothing, just scared the SHD out of someone who's supposed to be the symbol of fear. Izuku said, ruffling Astrid's hair. It's going to be all right. You won't have to fight him, Astrid. I'll personally deal with him, he said while smiling sinisterly. Oh, him. You'll beat him, no problem, but I want to fight too, you know. Can I take care of his mutton-head army? Izuku nodded at her as she smiled. He'll know soon enough that he shouldn't have gazed into the abyss. Izuku's emerald glowed bright. Because the abyss gazes back, scene change, goddamn in that Deku. It's almost 3 months and is not seen anywhere. I should have gotten that quirk instead of his useless, but Katsuki Bakugo threw his lamp. I should have gotten that quirk instead of him. He slammed his fist on his desk. Now that he's inside his dorm room, he could let all his frustrations out. It should have been given to me. Not him. Not that. Who keeps looking down on me? He slammed both his clenched hands on his desk. He's gritting his teeth from frustration, just thinking about everything. If that son of wanted to die, he could have given one for all to me before he did. I could have been a number one with that DMN quirk. All Might should have gave me that quirk in the first place. Not him. Not that useless. Useless Deku. I bet is laughing at me from his goddamn grave. He yelled. His breathing was heavy. Frustration at Deku for dying with choosing him as his successor. I was supposed to break him first. I already took Uraraka from him, but that useless disappeared and died without giving it away. Generations upon generations worth of power in a quirk, wasted by that Deku. He yelled at the top of his lungs. He's lucky the room was soundproof, since anyone could hear that from outside if it isn't. Scene change, Sanctuary of Heroes. Cemetery. All Might stood slumped. Looking at his successor's grave with no body buried was painful for the symbol of peace. He really loved the boy and treated him like his own son. He would always give Izuku some allowance, ever since Inko died. He promised the woman he'd take care of Izuku, but for him, it's like he failed at the promise he made to Inko. I failed you, young Midoriya. I'm sorry, my boy. He rested the flowers on Izuku's tomb. I failed as a teacher, and as a parental figure, I'm sorry. I didn't saw through your pain, my boy. I really do. His tears were flowing down as raindrops soaked his hair and entire suit. I wanted to see you on the top, young Midoriya. The time when you become the symbol of peace, the time you take that title from me, as I watch from the sideline. Cheering you on, my boy. He kneels and caresses Izuku's tomb. I wish I could turn back time, my boy. I would cherish you. I would assure you how important you are to us. I'll stay here, young Midoriya. I'll be your company for now, my boy. He really wanted to hug his successor, to tell the boy how proud he was of him. You mean so much to me, young Midoriya. You were like a son I never had. I wish I could call you. All Might paused, wiping away the tears that fell from his sunken cheeks. My son. Unnamed island near Japanese coast. Izuku and Astrid's cave. Izuku walks towards Astrid, who is doing something with training one for all. He has plates of food in hand. Hey, Astrid. I got her brie dash. He paused and put down the plates before he got into a laughing fit. Ha 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 ha. What are you doing, Astrid? He's grabbing his stomach from his uncontrollable laughter. Hey, I was just charging the phone you gave me. She yelled in retort. W with the charger on your mouth, ha ha. This is hilarious. He's in his laughing fit. Then you charge this, we have no electricity, genius. Astrid sent him a glare that made him shiver. Okay, I'll charge it. Now where did I put that solar generator? He walked away, trying his best not to get a scythe to the head. So he hurriedly went to find it. Hurry, Izuku. I have to feed my dragons in Dragon City. She yelled as Izuku doubled the effort. Coming right away, MDM. Izuku replied. Astrid had been an avid player of Dragon City for the past week now. She missed Stormfly, so at least in Dragon City, she could care and raise a dragon to sate her feeling of being homesick. Scene change. Class 3A, Classroom UA. Izuku's spot in 3A has been taken by a purple-haired sleep-deprived boy who could be passed off as Aizawa's son. A late transfer, but a needed one since they need to fill the void in the classroom of their missing/dead classmate. You still have that, Yamamoto? I have mine too, Kyoka said, while dangling her own Deku Alpha suit keychain. Of course, Izuku did give me this on my birthday, and in return I gave him my own Creati keychain. Momo replied. Izuku was their mutual friend. Cool, I didn't give him anything though. I have no merchandise like you two. Momo giggled at her friend. Kyoka wasn't the type to sell her own merch. Izuku, on the other hand, would sell his merch, so he could buy All Might figures and merch. If the dumbass just asked All Might could have given him the whole factory. Scene change back with Izuku. He's been in the corner for a while now. He's another episode of his painful memories. It doesn't hurt him physically, but still emotionally, he isn't invincible. All Might shouldn't have given you One for All. Memories of Night Eye belittling his potential, and All Might's decision of picking him resurfaced in his mind. All Might could still have One for All. Instead, his career died because he can't continue. One for All wasn't supposed to be in your hands. It wasn't supposed to be you. Instead, he chose you. You're just a kid who has no idea what he's doing. Shut up, Night Eye. I deserved One for All. Izuku yelled while clutching his head. All Might was supposed to be working until now, bringing hope to people. You're not supposed to be the successor. It was supposed to be Mirio. Instead, he chose you. You're a mistake. Shut up, Izuku from the depths of his heart. You can see the future, but you can't predict your own death. You're the mistake, Night Eye. Izuku added, clenching his fist. That's why I stole your DMN poster. Payment for being a PP while I was in your agency. All you see is Mirio. Mirio that. Mirio this. To hell with Mirio. I have my problems too. I have my dreams too. Why can't you put your trust in me for once? Izuku fell, arms around his waist, having another attack. Izuku, Astrid asked, resting her head on his shoulder, calming him. Yeah, sorry I yelled out of nowhere. I can't control when my delusions attack me. Astrid lovingly explored his body. This calms Izuku down. Thanks, Astrid, for always being there for me. He said, you were there for me when I was alone, Izuku. You didn't leave me, so I have to give my support two double, triple, 1,000-fold. He. She nozzles her nose on Izuku's neck. You're the sweetest, you know that, right? He said, you always remind me that, of course I do. She said lovingly while giving Izuku a quick kiss on the lips. Come on, quit sulking. Astrid took Izuku's hand and guided him to their new bed. Let's take a rest. Looks like you really need it, she said before pushing Izuku on the bed and jumping onto him. As the both of them cuddled up and rested for today, due to stress of training, and their aching body really needed it. Scene Change News Report has stated that an unknown man with shadow-like quirk, his distinct feature is his unkempt, unruly green hair, has been spotted by our chopper on top of villains' dead bodies made into a mountain from the numbers of them. I don't know how to react. Sure, what he's doing is illegal, but this is just my opinion, is doing good by hunting these villains. As heroes weren't in the scene, they were late. That's all for today, folks. I'll be back with more local news after this advertisement. Ida turned the TV off. Hey man, we're watching. Kaminari protested. Watching Vigilante doing heroes' work is bad for our mindset, Kaminari-kun. Ida spanked the air as if it's a bad girl. Calm down, you're not a robot, Ida, Kirishima added as the chopping boy stopped. What's your opinion about him anyway? Just asking. Shoto, who just got into the conversation, asked. Well, for me, he's kind of doing good, less villains around, less people in danger. Siro butts in, puffing his vape. Siro-kun, stop vaping. Ida reprimands him. Chill man, it's just vape. It's not a cigar, give me a break. I'm stressed. Siro replied, while Kirishima looks at him. You're stressed how? His spiky red-haired friend asked. But Kago man, I can't deal with him anymore. He just became more shitty because he got Midoriya's crush. Siro rolled his eyes, already done with Bakugo's antics. He keeps bragging to me how his Midoriya's crush. Like, bro, do I look like I give a... If you did, geez, I'm not even Midoriya, and I'm pissed at him. Siro puffed another breath of his vape. He really needs to stop with his unruly behavior. Unbefitting of a hero, he sounds more like a villain these days. Ida shook his head. I can't believe I'm friends with Uraraka. Ida sighed. Hey, if I have Midoriya's quirk, and he did that to Jiraiya, I'm going to prison just to let you guys know. Kaminari added, also tired of Bakugo's daily bragging. Kaminari, that's not her, never mind. I would too. Ida mid-sentence changed his mind. Why are you even still friends with him, Kirishima? Kaminari asked, a little agitated now. Who said I was? I stopped being friends with him the moment he betrayed the bro code. All the boys nodded. How about you, Todoroki? Todoroki shook his head. No, never been friend with him now. I hate him more. He's worse than my father, and it's saying something. Shoto replied. I hate him too. He gets a girl, but he's treating Uraraka like a trophy. Mineta, who just arrived, added. Oh hey, Mineta bro. Yeah, I see that too all the time he's with Uraraka, he's treating her like a trophy. All the boys sighed. Meanwhile, guys, the cake is done. Let's eat. Sato said from the kitchen. Heck yeah, eat it all before Bakugo gets here. Kaminari rushed there while laughing. Scene change. Principal's office UA. Nizu is currently reviewing the news footage, every single second, every single frames of it. He has some itch in his mind the moment he saw this earlier, so he requested a raw footage of it from the news station. Why does this person look like Midoriya? He shook his head. It's confusing. Midoriya doesn't have that kind of quirk, let alone a 6-foot-tall knight army. This must a relative of him. Then, Nizu's analytical mind went into focus as he made sure to check every single detail. And who's this blonde woman who accompanied him? White electricity. Then, in his mind, a theory formed. It couldn't be the new wielder. The 10th, that all-for-one mentioned in the news 2 days ago. It clicked. Midoriya, you really chose a successor to handle the burden. I hope you played your cards right, Midoriya, Nizu said while smirking at the footage. He didn't understand why Izuku chose a vigilante to be his successor. It's a mere theory, but I'll solidify this until next week. I need solid evidence. Unnamed island near Japanese coast Izuku and Astrid's cave. It's time we'll put an end to all-for-one's evil once and for all, Izuku said, while at the cliff of their island, looking at mainland Japan. I'm ready, let's do this, babe, Astrid exclaimed. Let's dance, babe. Izuku took Astrid's arm as they both jumped off the cliff together. Kaisel. The dragon appeared out of Izuku's shadow, and they landed in Kaisel's back. To Japan. As the wyvern flew off at unprecedented speed with Astrid and Izuku in tow. Scene change. Kamino Ward villain base. The group of villains were chatting with one another, trying to figure out a good plan on how to weaken hero society and it all down. All for One was with them for a clear and well-thought-out plan. No, Dabi, I say we break their defenses first before going after Endeavor number 1. He's weakened from Hound's attack last week and is still recovering. He's their last defense, and a weakened last wall is the easiest to conquer. Mr. Compress added, while Dabi grumbled that his plan didn't even get. Fine, pitched him an idea, and I just want to have a chance to burn that dash. Dabi whispered, I like Mr. Compress's plan. We'll weaken their first line first by bringing the Nomus in to deal with their students and staff. UA's our priority kill list right now. All Might is weakened. I doubt he'll pose a threat. All for One added his thoughts. MSTR, that sounds good. Then we'll sweep one for all successor and take the quirk before they could react. Tamura said, clearly hell-bent on his own idea. All for One merely nodded but has a better idea. That's for the last part, Tamura, the CLMX of the attack. All for One spoke, commanding not hearing more childish things from Tamura's pettiness. Then All for One, you're dead. The doors flew back, destroyed by a powerful kick. You've escaped death too many times. My liege doesn't appreciate you crawling away from his fingers. It's time you die for good, said by a very, very, very angry Izuku, who has his twin shadow daggers equipped. Quest. Eliminate the League of Villains reward from Sung Jin Woo. Shadow storage, shadow extraction, and Terry's fragment, agelessness. Potion. Grade reward. Ascension to general grade from Elite Knight. Main quest. Destroy All for One for running away from death. Eliminate him, and no one can escape death. Reward. Overseer of a world of a deceased Iterum. Position under the Shadow Monarch. Hidden quest. Revenge. Avenge the death of Dahlia the Rose of the Shadow Monarch. Reward. Reunite for 1 hour with Izuku Midoriya. Izuku's I wasn't focused on other quests. He only had his eyes on the last one. Izuku's eyes glowed bright green as he looked at his prey. You don't know how far Son will go just to meet his mother again. Heights Alliance Dormitory Class 3. Does anyone want some tea? It's a golden imperial. Momo asked her classmate, already opening the container of high-quality tea. A no thanks Yamamo will pass for now, Kaminari said from the common room. Me too, Yairo-san. Kirishima added. Get your hero costume now. Aizawa through the door like he owns it. Since Ida was about to ask, but Aizawa cut him off. No time. Take everyone. Someone found All for One, and the man is fighting him right now. He breathes in. We'll be back up to whoever he is. This is our chance. Everyone scurried along and tried to find their suits, and as they went out and got their lives on the line, Tashinori Yagi, also known as All Might, couldn't help but stay there, helpless to do anything. His iron suit from David's shield still hasn't arrived. He's feeling so useless right now that he couldn't do anything. Finally, some action. Bakugo yelled, Finally I can show I am better than that demon, Deku. As he ran with his classmates, with a costume in hand. Scene change Kamino Ward, a desolate battlefield. Izuku is fighting with Tamura Shigaraki and All for One, trading blows after blows. How about this combination of quirks? Let's see you dodge this. All for One yelled in frustration. The living fossil already has enough of Izuku. He rushed at Izuku with an intent to kill and finish whoever this shadow guy is. Try and dodge this. Izuku didn't dodge, he stood there with a smirk. The land connected with Izuku's upper torso. Huh, not so tough. Now MSTR already killed you before you even had the chance to strike. Tamura bathed in the glory for a moment. He thought his MSTR defeated Izuku. But just how wrong he was, ha ha ha. Do you really think I'd die that easily? Izuku shouts, while All for One's brow furrowed. Don't be such a cocky brat. A mere cockroach like you is nothing to a demon king. All for One spat. A demon king, you? My god, you're more delusional than I give you credit for. Izuku spat back. Demon King Baron died from the hands of my liege. You're no demon king. Izuku blown off torso regenerates. You're a delusional otaku. A demon king is a status. Izuku punched All for One in the stomach, sending him straight to Shigaraki Tamura, who was caught off guard. You're a 200 years worth of disappointment. Scene change Astrid was holding her own, fighting off 6 villains Dabi, twice, Compress, Toga, Kirojiri, while she was also dodging Gigantomachia. Izuku, I can't keep this up. I need help. She's already straining herself for pushing One for All at 40%, and she's as strong as 120 to 130 of Izuku's OFA, but her experience with the quirk is lacking, so she's at a disadvantage. Gigantomachia was about to stomp her to death. In it, I have no time to dodge dash, but Gigantomachia's arms were stopped by 2 giant figures. Ra, the 2 shadow giants Izuku summoned to help her, keeps Gigantomachia occupied. Good. Now I can focus on these moronic villains. Astrid said, while dodging a knife to the throat courtesy of Toga. Hey cute blonde twin, do you bleed? I want to see your BLD. As Toga lunged again and tried to strike at Astrid. Psycho. Astrid yelled before, cleaving Toga's entire arm off. Oh, the BLD Psycho yelled, grasping her missing arm. You're gonna regret that. Slash you won't. Twice yelled, using his sharp measuring tape at Astrid to cut her, but was met by a scythe to the stomach which stopped him in his tracks. Both Toga and Twice bodies were cleaved in half by the scythe, 2 down. Astrid couldn't take it. She's a Viking, but killing people is still new to her, but the passive skill of the scythe makes her unsympathetic towards those she kills. Dabi, seeing he has no chance here, he ran in fine endeavor if he is here. Where are you going, Dabi? Yell Mr. Compress. We have to stop TH dash. Astrid wasn't going to listen to a conversation, so she saw the chance and acted on it. She sliced Mr. Compress in a vertical line, killing him for good. It seems I'm not needed here, Kirojiri said before warping towards Izuku, versus All for One and Shigaraki. Where are you all going? We're not done here yet. As she looks around, corpses of Twice, Toga, and Compress lays around. She then took their bodies and laid it on top of one another. Then, by taking a broken table, she destroyed it before putting it on top. Fortunately, a gasoline was nearby, so she took it and poured over them to honor the dead. After she poured it, she grinds the scythe on the ground, creating some sparks as the piece of wood casts on fire. Sending through a pyre, she said before walking away towards Izuku's fight. May your souls rest in Helheim. Kamino Ward, Battlefield Class 3A helped with saving people, rescuing trapped civilians, and some are just watching at the carnage going on. What the heck happened here? Mina Ashido asked, looking at the carnage in front of them. Upon them, mountain upon mountains for dead bodies of D-lister villains, food soldiers of the League of Villains. They're all dead, not one of them is breathing. Momo Yairozu added, while puking out her lunch. Yamamoto, you okay? Her best friend, Jairu, asked. Why, I'm fine, just disoriented. Who could have caused all of this? She pukes more at the sight of dismembered bodies of villains. A white blur goes past them, with streaks of white lightning. Who's that? Sato asked, pointing at the figure. Wait, isn't that Black Whip part of Midoriya's quirk? Momo eyed the figure. Wheel. She's floating too. So she is float. Then that lightning arcs that Midoriya has when his quirk enters full cowling state. She analyzed, finally found that Deku passed the quirk to. Bakugo whispered to himself. Then a huge smirk dawned on his face. You don't deserve that dash. One for all is mine. I'll make sure of it, he said while using his explosion to go after Astrid. Hey, where you going, Bakugo? Mina shouts. Go after him. I swear he'll do something dumb. Shoto commanded his classmates. Ida, go first. You're the fastest. He added. Got it. Ida didn't hesitate and sprinted toward Bakugo. Scene changed back with Izuku and his fight with All for One with Shigaraki. All for One already lost his right arm. Is that fear? Is the symbol of fear scared of the former successor of One for All? Izuku shouts, while ignoring All for One and going after Shigaraki. Come at me, Dash. This time my quirk will work on you. Shigaraki prepared himself. You lost something, Shigaraki. Izuku taunted while waving Shigaraki's left arm. Arg, you took my arm. Izuku dodged an attack from All for One who was going for his head. Too transparent, old man. He then summoned his twin shadow daggers and cut All for One in the chest. Why, you damn boy. You'll regret ever going against me. Izuku side-eyed. I doubt that. With a living fossil like you, I'm not regretting anything. Izuku spat. Yo, Dash, All for One was about to speak. Nice heart, All for One. Too dark, though. Izuku crushed All for One's heart within his hand. My heart, he said, groaning in pain as his heart was crushed. You don't need it. A heartless person like you doesn't deserve a heart. As Izuku, using his left hand, punched All for One to a building. You're going to pay for killing Sensei. Shigaraki shouted, then rushed towards Izuku. Izuku, let it happen. You can't disintegrate a shadow, do better. Izuku coldly spoke, before taking Shigaraki by the right arm and flinging him to the same building he sent All for One. Amateurs. I trained with Sir Igris, and Baru, you can't even scratch me, he said before slowly walking to where he sent the two villains. You two still alive in there? He sarcastically asked. I guess no. Dash, a swift motion, a blur as Izuku looks down. An arm was through his chest as he looked at his beating heart. You die, boy. You're hundreds of years too young to defeat me. You're weak. All for One, with his arm through Izuku's chest. He spoke it, tried to taunt Izuku, who was bleeding from his gaping chest. Too young. Sure, but weaker. Hell no, Izuku said, as his gaping chest immediately healed, like he was never stabbed. Impossible, even if you have the embers left. There's no healing quirk within One for All. All for One saw Izuku smirk at the two of them. Didn't I told you already? Death doesn't appreciate you slipping away. I am his soldier. I am the upcoming general that serves the Shadow Monarch. Izuku throws a haymaker punch at All for One. As his body already starts to give out on him, the stress that his regeneration quirk already reaching its exhaustion. I can't afford another mishap. I'll die by the next blow this kid gives out. All for One was trying to make a plan, as his eyes landed on Shigaraki. MSTR, what are you planning? His student asked as All for One lunged at him. Then Choke holds him from the back. You. If you get any closer, the grandson of Nana Shimura dies. He said, All for One still grasping Shigaraki's neck. Do I look like I give a damn what happens to that crusty dash? Izuku lunged and pierced his entire through Shigaraki's chest, and it got out towards All for One's chest too, impaling the two. You son of a bit dash. Shigaraki fell down the moment Izuku retracted his arms out of Shigaraki's chest. You didn't even hesitate. What kind of monster are you? All for One shouts. You're next. Izuku's eyes glows emerald brightly then. He put All for One in a chokehold. You can't kill me. I am the Demon King. He yelled as Izuku sharply looks at him. You're no Demon King. Izuku slowly takes All for One's spine out of his body. You monster. All for One's last words were of pain, as Izuku took out his spine out of his miserable body. You are a spineless dash. Izuku said, almost laughing from his own joke, before looking away, and he started walking, with hands in his pockets. Scene change. Astrid was flying, using float and air cannons for propulsion, as she tries to find some more villains. Danger sense activated abruptly, and she dodged an explosion mid-flight. What's her deal? She yelled, seeing the perpetrator was a dirty ash-blonde Pomeranian with a permanent scowl on his face. I found you, Dash. So that pathetic Deku gave you one for all. Astrid raised an eyebrow, confused littering her face. She knows one for all, but... What's a Deku? She asked, still confused. Quit with me. He yelled in frustration. Gross, no. I have a boyfriend. She punched Katsuki in the gut, causing him to be sent back towards Ida, crashing into the engine quirk user. What's her deal? Why did he suddenly attack me? Her lightning arcs grew in volumes. Excuse me, we're sorry for our classmate attacking you out of nowhere. Astrid nodded at Ida while she crossed her arms. Looking down at the unconscious body of Katsuki, she's unconcerned about him. Put him on a leash next TI dash. Izuku then appeared, using shadow like wings to fly to her level. It's been a while. How are you guys? Izuku said, earning a confused reaction from his former classmates. Oh, do we know you by chance? Shoto added, while Izuku sighed. Mr. Broke my arms. Recovery girls, most broken patient. Anyone? They pondered on it for a moment, until Denki, the dumbest of the group, arrived at a single conclusion. Midoriya. Denki Kaminari yelled, as everyone's eyes widened. The one and only. Now if you excuse us, my girlfriend and I have to go. Izuku wrapped his arm around Astrid's waist. Midoriya, wait. Almost everyone there pleaded. Ciao. As they disappeared into the shadows and popped back up 100 meters away from the group. Now, let's see my quest rewards notification. Main quest, hidden quest, and grade quest have been accomplished by the Shadow Soldier. Izuku Midoriya's rewards have been sent to his inventory. A card pass for 1 hour limited time astral body projection of Inko Midoriya has been added to the inventory and is bookmarked. You have now ascended to General Grade Shadow Soldier. You have been given a job. Overseer, you have assimilated. Intari's fragment, congratulations, Izuku Midoriya. Finally, scene change. After that whole fiasco, Izuku and Astrid had returned to their humble abode. Arise, Izuku summoned Kaisel, his trusted dragon. Kaisel, I want you to visit the Iterum world that our liege had given me rights to be an overseer, he said. Yes, General, the dragon spoke. The very first time he did, since at first he has no respect for Izuku. Now Izuku's a general, he has his utmost respect for Izuku, and with that the dragon retreated back in the shadows. I wonder what's on that world. I hope it's something exciting, but before that Izuku's eyes glowed emerald as his tone became serious. I still have things to settle. You almost hurt my girlfriend. We have some unfinished business. Kakin, not playfully, not one that promises nothing but pain. He's out for Katsuki's BLD, for almost hurting Astrid. Izuku and Astrid's cave. The cave was warm from the little fire Izuku had built, crackling in the corner. Astrid sat cross-legged with her phone out, leaning close to Izuku while snapping picture after picture. Okay, smile normally this time, Astrid said, holding the phone up. Izuku puffed his cheeks and squinted his eyes like he was constipated. Astrid burst out laughing, nearly dropping the phone. That's not normal. You look like a toddler throwing a tantrum. Look who's talking. And it's my normal face. Izuku shot back with a straight face before breaking into a grin. Astrid shoved him lightly in the shoulder. You're ridiculous. From the back of the cave, the shadows stood at attention. Or well, most of them did. A couple of them couldn't help but whisper. Is that really our general? One of the night-looking shadows asked, tilting his head. Yeah, said a goblin shadow, scratching his chin. Pretty sure it's the same guy who chopped those villains into pieces like a blender. Now what is he even doing? Pouting for pictures. Another shadow soldier leaned forward. He killed the strongest person in this world in a few minutes. And now he's making fish faces for a blonde girl with a phone. The goblin snorted. What a downgrade. Back at the fire, Astrid was trying to angle the phone for a couple shot. She leaned against Izuku. Okay, this one's cute. No dumb faces. Izuku smiled softly, his arms slipping around her shoulders. Fine, but if this ends up online, I'm blaming you. Astrid grinned. Please, no one's ever going to believe the great, scary shadow vigilante makes goofy selfies with his girlfriend. One of the shadows muttered, yeah, no kidding. The night shadow sighed. Guess even monsters have date nights. The goblin chuckled. Honestly, kinda respect it. The soldiers went quiet again, watching their terrifying general pose for another photo, this time with bunny ears behind Astrid's head. Off you stupid shadows. Quit lounging around and pick those weapons up. Izuku yelled in fury at his lazy shadows. Run dash. The goblin shadow yelled as he was picked up by the knight as they ran away. Get back here, you lousy shadows. Izuku and Astrid's cave the fire popped in the corner, its glow stretching across the cave walls. Astrid sat with her phone in hand, still giggling at the last set of selfies. Then she noticed a figure stepping out from the shadows. Her laughter stopped short. Izuku was draped in a long cloak of black, trimmed in gold and purple, the hood pulled low over his eyes. The outfit clung like armor, yet flowed like smoke around him. For a moment, Astrid didn't recognize him at all. She whistled. Well, that's new. He tilted his head slightly, a grin tugging at his lips beneath the hood. Too much, babe. Astrid stood, circling him like she was inspecting a weapon. Too much. You look like you're about to conquer a Viking village. Where did you even get this? Made it, Izuku admitted, tugging at one of the straps across his chest. Took some ideas from games, honestly from assassin characters, patched the rest together, thought it might help with the image. Astrid pressed her finger against the chest plate. Help with the image. You look bloody terrifying. People take one look at you and run like cowards. She smirked, her voice slipping into the sharp edge of her Viking roots. You look like hells, come to drag souls. Izuku raised a brow at the insult, though the grin on his face didn't fade. That's not exactly a compliment, babe. Astrid laughed, giving him a playful shove. Oh, don't whine, you oaf. It suits you. You look like someone I'd follow into a village raid. From the back of the cave, the shadows began to stir. A goblin soldier whispered, That's our general. He looks like the final boss. The knight beside him nodded, sounding impressed. This is more like it. No silly faces. Just intimidation, masculine. Another soldier snorted. Give him 5 minutes, he'll be back to posing. Izuku spun back and glared at them. PSS off NPC shadows. He yelled at his soldiers. Astrid folded her arms, shaking her head. All right, dramatic boy, spin around. Let me see the whole thing. He rolled his eyes but gave a slow turn, the cloak flaring slightly at the edges. Happy. She grinned, her accent thickening as she barked out a laugh. Aye, but if you ever show up to a feast looking like that, I'll call you a thrice damn fool and make you sit outside. Izuku chuckled, pulling the hood lower. Noted. The shadows fell quiet again, unsure if they were supposed to fear the figure in front of them or remember the same man who had been pulling goofy faces for Astrid just an hour before. You're heading out again, Astrid said. It wasn't really a question. Her voice carried that blunt Viking edge, equal parts worry and challenge. Izuku nodded. Yeah, the league's gone, and all for one with them, but that doesn't mean it's over. There are still villains out there running around, hurting people. If I sit here doing nothing, what was the point of all of this? Astrid frowned, clicking her tongue. Bah, you sound like some self-righteous of a chieftain. But she pushed off the wall and stepped closer. I know you. You wouldn't be you if you just stayed behind. Izuku gave her a faint smile, then lifted his hand. Shadows rippled across the floor like water, spreading across the cave. The air grew cold, and from the darkness a massive wolf emerged, its fur made of swirling black mist. It padded forward, claws clicking on the stone, then raised its head and stepped onto the air itself like it was solid ground. Rarf, MSTR. Izuku sighed at his wolf. He named Regis, since this wolf has the personality of a bad-mouthed delinquent. The wolf's glowing eyes fixed on Izuku, its tail swishing slowly. It let out a low growl that shook the cave, but there was no malice in it, only loyalty. Astrid raised her brows, impressed. By the gods, that's new. A wolf that walks the air. You're trying to one-up yourself every DMN time, aren't you? Yup, new pup here, stolen from my liege. Since he liked cute things the moment I got back to the Shadow Realm, I took this puppy with me, without my liege knowing. Izuku reached out, running a hand over the creature's smoky mane before climbing onto its back. The cloak settled around him as he looked down at Astrid. I'll be back before you know it, babe. She smirked, though her voice carried a bite. If you get yourself killed, I'll drag your sorry ghost back and thrash you until you beg for hell's mercy. He chuckled. Noted, the wolf howled once, the sound echoing off the cave walls, then leapt upward. Its paws landed on nothing, climbing higher and higher into the night sky, as if running on invisible paths. Astrid watched until the shadows faded, leaving only silence in the cave. Honestly, you're just the standard of man that any woman could wish for, she said while looking at the place where Izuku was previously. She lightly rubbed her stomach lovingly. Am I ready to give it to him, to be a mother? My God, your PRGNT scythe maiden. A shocked shadow soldier yelled. Get your mutton-head, boar-head out of my business. Astrid yelled in surprise. Astrid stared at the photo on her phone, her heart skipping like it had no business doing. She pinched the screen to zoom in, first at herself, cheeks pink, eyes softer than she ever remembered them being, then at him. Izuku's face was caught mid-grimace, purple sparks crackling along his freckles, making him look both ridiculous and somehow unfairly cute. Oh, Thor's hammer, she whispered, her lips twitching into a smile she couldn't fight back. We actually look like a couple. Her stomach fluttered. A couple. The thought made her want to bury her face in her hands and squeal, but instead, she hugged the phone to her chest, rolling onto her back against the cool stone floor of the cave. She kicked her legs just once like some giddy maiden back in Burke, before catching herself and forcing her foot down. Pull yourself together, Astrid, she muttered, though her grin only grew wider. Still, her gaze flicked back to the screen, drinking in the sight of Izuku's wild hair, those bright eyes, and the way his arm was locked around her shoulder like she belonged there. And the truth was she liked belonging there. She bit her lip, cheeks warming as she whispered to herself, Gods, I think I'm in trouble. I'm still new to this whole relationship thing. The battle-hardened damsel spoke. The shadows rippled as Izuku stepped out of the void and into a back alley of Shinjuku. The city was loud, alive with neon and chatter, but the alley stank of rust and sweat. Ahead, 4 men circled a trembling shop owner, their quirks flickering like weak sparks in the dark. Izuku didn't hesitate. The wolf of shadow materialized beneath him, launching forward with silent ferocity. The first thug didn't even see him coming before a fist wrapped in darkness slammed into his gut, sending him crashing into a dumpster. The second raised his arms, electricity sparking, but the shadows swallowed the light, chains of purple-black slamming him against the wall. Who the hell? The third stammered, stumbling back. His voice cracked, fear seeping in as Izuku's glowing eyes locked onto him. Izuku said nothing. Words weren't needed. The man turned to run, only to find the wolf already there, massive jaws open in a silent snarl. He froze, knees buckling, then collapsed in surrender. The fourth tried to be brave, lunging with a knife glowing faintly red. Izuku caught his wrist mid-swing, twisted, and with a flick of his shadows sent the man sprawling, unconscious before he even hit the ground. The shop owner gasped, clutching his chest. "Why you saved me?" "Thank you. Who are you?" But when he looked up again, Izuku was gone. Only the faint shimmer of shadows remained, curling into the darkness of the rooftops above, where the vigilante stood silently watching. His gaze swept over the city that stretched endlessly before him. Even without the League, even without All for One, the rot of villainy still seeped through its cracks. Izuku tightened his fists, the purple light of his power pulsing with quiet resolve. "This is my battlefield now." As he disappeared, the smell of burning reached every corner of the cave. Not the comforting smoke of a campfire, but the bitter, acrid tang of something being utterly destroyed. Astrid stood over the pot she had sworn she could manage. The stew inside had turned into a thick black sludge, bubbling like tar in a forge. She fanned at the smoke, her cheeks pink from heat and frustration. "How in the 9 realms do you burn stew?" she hissed, jabbing the spoon helplessly. A pop echoed from the pot, followed by a tongue of fire leaping upward. Astrid yelped, swatting it with the spoon until embers scattered across the stone. From the shadows along the cave wall, armored figures stepped forth. Knights of darkness, their swords at their sides, glowing eyes fixed on the scene. They stood in a line, every movement deliberate, as though assessing a battlefield. One knelt, placing a gauntlet fist to his chest. His voice echoed like steel in a cavern. "Scythe Maiden, your valor's unquestioned, but the pot has claimed victory this day." Astrid spun, spoon in hand like a weapon. "Don't you start with me." Another knight stepped forward, bowing his head solemnly. "It is as we feared. The stew has fallen beyond salvation. Shall we commit it to the flames?" Astrid groaned, dragging her hands down her face. "I don't need commentary. I need food." The third knight, his tone calm and deliberate, raised a hand toward the smoldering pot. "We advise a tactical retreat. Scythe Maiden, the smoke grows stronger by the moment." Astrid glared at them all, her pride wounded deeper than any blade could cut. "You knights face monsters without flinching, but me trying to cook is what shakes your faith." The first knight inclined his head ever so slightly. "Not fear, Scythe Maiden, familiarity. This is not the first defeat you have suffered against stew." Her jaw dropped. "You keep track of this." They bowed as one, shadows rippling with silent dignity, though the faintest hint of amusement lingered in their glowing eyes. Astrid stomped her foot, pointing at the pot. "Fine. Next time Izuku comes back, he's cooking. And you." She jabbed the spoon at them. "Not a word of this leaves the cave." The knights struck their chests in salute. "As you command." Yet as they faded back into the shadows, the faint clink of armor sounded suspiciously like stifled laughter. Bakugo third-person POV. The dorm's common room was quiet except for the drone of the late-night news. Grainy, shaky footage played again on the screen, a blonde girl plowing through a gang of low-level villains, each strike of her fists leaving craters in concrete. Her armor looked mismatched and old-fashioned, almost medieval, and a battered axe hung at her side like something out of a museum. The anchor's voice followed, steady and curious. Many are speculating about the origins of this mysterious vigilante. Some viewers claim her strength resembles that of a former UA student, Izuku Midoriya, who nearly won at the sports festival before leaving school under unclear circumstances. At this time, no official confirmation has been made. Bakugo's teeth ground so hard his jaw ached. He didn't even realize his palms were sparking until the couch cushion beside him smoldered. That girl, that blonde foreigner in her weird Viking getup, that was his power. It had to be. One for all wasn't something you could mistake. It was a freight train packed into a punch, the kind of raw, explosive strength that shook the bones of anyone who watched it. And Deku's shitty, spineless, crybaby Deku had given it away. To her. Bakugo snarled, standing so fast the table rattled. Some foreigner, some blonde chick in dumb cosplay armor, gets it instead of me. His voice cracked like thunder through the dorm, making a couple classmates flinch. He paced like a caged animal, fists clenched so tight the skin split across his knuckles. Who even is she? What is this? Deku runs away and plays vigilante with some random blonde dash, and then. His words choked off into a furious growl. He had one job, one DMN job. Pass it to me, not her. The news replayed Astrid's blurred face again, her hair swinging as she landed a punch that split the pavement like a meteor strike. To anyone else, it was impressive. To Bakugo, it was blasphemy. He slammed his fist into the wall, plaster cracking beneath the blast. Deku, you absolute dash. You really think this makes you better than me? That running off and dumping that power on some foreign nobody proves you're stronger. His chest heaved, breath ragged, sparks snapping off his palms. But beneath the fury, something cold spread in his gut. Something he'd never admit aloud. Because deep down, what burned the most wasn't that Midoriya had passed one for all away. It was that when the time came, he hadn't even thought of Bakugo. Ochako Haruka, third-person POV, Ochako lingered in the hallway, heart hammering as Bakugo's voice thundered through the dorm. That nerd gave it to her. Some foreign blonde in Viking cosplay, and not me. His explosions rattled the walls, sparks flying as he stormed in circles. She pressed a hand to her chest, breath shaky. The anger in his voice cut deep, not just because it was about Izuku, but because of how much it still mattered to him. Ochako bit her lip, sorrow twisting her. Izuku was gone, yet his shadow still lived between them. She turned away before he noticed her, eyes stinging. Sometimes being Bakugo's girlfriend felt less like holding him and more like holding the space Izuku left behind inside her heart. Time-skip the news feed flickered across the Heights Alliance lounge, showing shaky phone footage. A figure cloaked in darkness blurred between alleys, villains collapsing in his wake. His eyes glowed faintly in the blur, his chest pulsing with some unnatural purple light. Another sighting of the vigilante, known as Shadow, the anchor droned. Authorities remain uncertain if he is hero or villain, but his actions leave a trail of death in their wake. Viewers are advised to stay clear. The students shifted uneasily. Mina hugged a pillow close. Creepy. Seriously creepy. He doesn't even look human in that footage. Kirishima scratched his head. Yeah, but he's only hitting villains, right? Doesn't that count for something? Heroes don't leave bodies behind, Tokoyami said darkly, folding his arms. Todoroki leaned forward, eyes fixed on the grainy frame. The power he's using, I've never seen anything like it. Jairu tilted her head, ear jacks twitching. It almost looks like shadows themselves are fighting with him. The speculation died when Aizawa stepped into the lounge, scarf trailing behind him. His eyes swept across the screen before settling on his class. So, you've all seen it. His tone was as flat as ever, but there was an edge to it. Sensei, Ida said quickly, standing stiff as always. If this shadow continues his rampage, doesn't that place him in direct opposition to the law? He looks like a vigilante, but his brutality goes beyond stop. Aizawa's voice cut sharp. Don't waste time trying to label him. Hero, villain, vigilante. The truth is simpler. He's dangerous. Whoever he is. The students exchanged uneasy looks. Ochako bit her lip, hugging her knees. Shadow. The name alone sent a chill crawling up her spine. Whoever he was, she couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't just some faceless monster. He felt familiar, but she didn't speak it aloud. Not yet. The television looped again, showing Shadow's blurred silhouette vanishing into the night. No one in the room could say who he was. No one could imagine that the boy they once called classmate now bore that name whispered with fear across Japan. Meanwhile, someone took notice to the girl that's been appearing after they all saw her and Izuku together. She has Midoriya's quirk, someone whispered. Izuku in Astrid's cave. Izuku stepped into the cave, brushing soot from his coat as the heavy stone door sealed shut behind him. He inhaled and immediately coughed. Babe, what smells funny? The armored knights were already waiting, lined up like sentinels. Without hesitation, every single gauntlet pointed at Astrid. She stood by the hearth with a pot of blackened something, her face burning red. Don't look at me like that. It was going fine until it wasn't. One knight lowered his head reverently. My general, the Scythe Maiden has fought valiantly against Stu once more. Alas, victory was not hers. Shut up. Astrid hurled a wooden spoon at him. It bounced off the knight's helm with a dull clink. Izuku chuckled and walked over, crouching to peek into the pot. He immediately grimaced, waving the smoke away. Babe, I think this stew achieved sentience. It's glaring at me. Astrid groaned and collapsed onto their bedding of furs, covering her face with her hands. I just wanted to do something nice for you. Every time I try, it ends in smoke or fire. I can't even make soup. The knights fell respectfully silent, fading back into the shadows as Izuku sat beside her. He gently pulled her hands away from her face, his thumb brushing over her cheek. Hey, he said softly, voice warm in contrast to the cold armor that surrounded them. You don't have to cook for me. You've already given me more than I could ever ask for your trust, your strength, your heart. Do you know how much that means to me? Her blue eyes softened, and she tried to look away, embarrassed. But Izuku leaned closer, resting his forehead against hers. Babe, he whispered, I don't care if you burn every pot in Japan. You're enough, just the way you are. Astrid's lips trembled before curving into a small, sheepish smile. You're too good at this, you know. Izuku chuckled and kissed her forehead, pulling her into his arms. She sank against him, stood still clinging to her hair, but he didn't care. To him, she was perfect even if the stew wasn't. Behind them, a knight muttered under his breath. Truly, love is more fearsome than her cooking. Astrid threw a pillow at the shadows without even looking. Izuku laughed, holding her tighter. Shut up, Clanker. She spat with venom before taking her scythe and sending it flying to the knight after she threw the pillow. The cave was quiet, the fire reduced to faint embers that glowed against the stone. Wrapped in furs, Astrid slept peacefully, her head resting just beneath Izuku's chin. His arms circled her waist, holding her close as if the world outside might try to steal her away. Her breathing was steady calm. Every now and then she shifted, her fingers curling lightly against his chest, as though she instinctively sought him even in dreams. Izuku smiled faintly, closing his eyes for a moment just to memorize the feeling, the warmth of her back against him, the scent of her hair, the comfort of knowing she was here and not some fading illusion. For someone who had spent most of his life chasing strength, it was strange how the simplest thing holding her made him feel the strongest. At the foot of their bedding, Regis, their tiny wolf shadow, had curled into a ball. The little creature's chest rose and fell with soft, almost childlike snores, a faint purple glow flickering from the flame-shaped tuft of energy on his head. Izuku let out a quiet chuckle. Some guard dog you are, Regis, he whispered to himself. But he didn't mind. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't afraid. With Astrid in his arms and Regis keeping them company, even the Shadow General is at peace. He pressed a gentle kiss to Astrid's temple, careful not to wake her. Good night, babe, he murmured, and for once, the shadows around him seemed to rest as well. Time skip morning. Astrid stirred faintly, the first rays of dawn filtering through the cracks in the cave wall. She groaned softly and rolled over, expecting to find the familiar warmth of furs and shadows. Instead, when her eyes blinked open, she was greeted by green hair, freckles, and a pair of wide teal eyes hovering just above her own. Morning, Izuku whispered, his voice warm with mischief. Astrid froze, her heart leaping in her throat. He was so close that their noses nearly brushed, his breath tickling her lips. Heat rushed to her cheeks, her Viking composure crumbling in an instant. G-gods above, Izuku. What are you doing? He smiled sheepishly, leaning down just a little more. Waking you up. Thought I'd try something different. Astrid's eyes flickered to his lips, then back to his eyes. She meant to scold him, truly, but her pulse betrayed her, hammering in her chest loud enough that even he could probably feel it. "Different, you say?" She managed, her voice lower than intended. Izuku's grin softened, his teasing melting into something gentler. "Yeah, different, but only for you, babe." Before she could gather another word, he brushed his lips against hers in the lightest of kisses, soft, quick, but enough to set her whole face aflame. Astrid let out a surprised gasp, then promptly grabbed the front of his shirt and pulled him back down for a second kiss, firmer this time. When they finally broke apart, breath mingling, Astrid glared at him half-heartedly. "That's a dangerous way to wake a warrior, you know." Izuku chuckled, resting his forehead against hers. "Worth the risk." Her lips curved into a small smile, her blush refusing to fade. "Then don't stop doing it." And just like that, the morning was theirs. "They better not start FCKNG while I'm still acting asleep." Regis shuddered at the thought. Morning. Outside the cave, the sea stretched endlessly before them, painted gold and crimson by the setting sun. Waves lapped against the rocks far below, their rhythm steady and soothing. Izuku sat cross-legged on the stone ledge outside the cave, cradling a steaming tin cup between his hands. Beside him, Astrid leaned against his shoulder, her own cup resting in her lap. The scent of roasted beans mingled with the salty air, simple but comforting. "You know," Astrid murmured, her eyes on the horizon, "this coffee's good, but I'll always prefer Viking mead. Nothing warms you like that." Izuku chuckled softly. "Strange, huh? You finally admit coffee isn't perfect." His grin widened as he slipped a hand into the shadows at his side. When it emerged, he held a dusty bottle of wine, the glass catching the last rays of sunset. "Not me, but maybe this will do." Astrid blinked, then laughed a bright, unrestrained sound that echoed across the cliffside. "You really thought ahead, didn't you?" "Always, babe, always," he said simply, uncorking the bottle. She leaned closer, eyes gleaming as the first stars dotted the sky. Together, they traded coffee for wine, sipping slowly as dusk gave way to night. "I love you, Izuku," Astrid spoke, her lips curled into a smile, while looking at Izuku, whom gazed back at her. "I love you too, Astrid," he replied, sincerely, to the woman who made his heart beat, the woman who destroyed his loneliness. Outside the cave, the morning sun filtered weakly into the cave, throwing long streaks of gold across the stone. Outside, Izuku was already in motion, each strike of his fist sharp, deliberate, shadows twisting and curling around him as if pulled by every movement. Astrid sat at the cave's entrance, knees drawn to her chest. Her eyes followed him, but her thoughts drifted elsewhere. Could it be true? Am I really? Her hand pressed lightly against her stomach. The uncertainty gnawed at her, a weight she hadn't yet dared to put into words. The air shifted. The shadows behind her deepened unnaturally, folding into one another until a tall figure stepped out. Dark hair, sharp eyes, a presence that made the world itself seem to still Sung Jinwoo. Astrid's fingers closed around the handle of her scythe, but she froze when his gaze met hers. His voice cut through the silence, soft yet unshakable. "Your child grows within you. You kids sure did get busy, huh?" Her breath stopped. The scythe slipped from her hand and clattered onto the stone floor. She whipped her head toward him, but he was already gone, swallowed back into the darkness, as if he had never been there. Only the echo of his words remained. Astrid pressed a trembling hand against her stomach again, her heart racing so violently she thought it might break through her ribs. "I'm really belly full," which is a term for PRGNNT in the era of Vikings, while outside Izuku's fists struck the air, unaware of the storm that had just bloomed inside her chest. Meanwhile, the cave's darkness stirred again, but not in a way Astrid or Izuku could notice. Deeper in the folds of shadow, a quiet world lingered, a place where time did not matter. Sung Jinwoo stood there, his figure half-lit by the faint purple glow of the realm. Beside him, Cha Hayan materialized, her presence soft and warm, her golden aura brushing against the endless dark like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Her eyes fixed on Astrid, trembling hands pressed against her stomach. "She's scared," Cha murmured, her tone tinged with empathy at the upcoming mother. "She doesn't know what to do." Jinwoo's gaze followed Astrid for a long moment before shifting toward Izuku outside, fists driving forward with grim determination. He exhaled through his nose, not in disappointment, but in quiet understanding. "They're just kids," he said at last, his voice steady. "Thrown into battles, loss, power, and now this. No one ever taught them how to live, only how to fight." He tilted his head toward Cha, his lips curving faintly. "Remind you of anyone?" Cha's soft laugh was like music against the stillness. She slipped her arm through his, leaning gently against him. "We weren't much different. Lost, stumbling, trying to hold on to each other while the world kept testing us." Jinwoo glanced down at her, a small warmth flickering in his dark eyes. "And we made it through. Together." Cha's gaze returned to Astrid, her expression tender. "That girl will need someone. Not to fight for her, but to remind her she doesn't have to carry it alone. If she tries, it'll break her." "You want to guide her," Jinwoo said, though it wasn't a question. "I do. She needs me. She needs someone who's already has experience of being a mother." Cha admitted with a quiet nod. "She deserves to know what it means to be a mother without being crushed by fear. Even if it's only through whispers in her dreams or little nudges when she feels lost, I'll be there." Jinwoo's arm tightened slightly around her shoulders. "That's why I call you my light, dear." For a heartbeat, silence stretched between them, two figures of shadow and warmth watching the pair outside, who still had no idea of the road ahead. Then, as suddenly as they had come, the monarch and his wife faded back into the darkness, leaving no trace behind. Only Astrid remained, clutching her stomach, and Izuku outside, unaware that both of them were already under the quiet watch of two who had once walked the same path. Meanwhile, the shadows stirred again. This time, it wasn't some grand monarch's entrance, but a far more casual stride. Sung Suho appeared, straight-backed, but grinning ear to ear. "Father," Mother thought, "I'd introduce my girlfriend." Behind him stepped a slim figure with long white hair and pointed ears, dressed in simple robes. Her features were youthful, almost childlike, like a girl barely past her teens. She blinked slowly, saying nothing, her expression as unreadable as a stone wall. Jinwoo's eyes narrowed. His voice came out flat, sharp as a blade. "Suho, why are you dating a middle schooler?" His father spoke, glaring at Suho. Cha-haen gasped softly and covered her mouth, shoulders shaking with suppressed laughter. Suho nearly tripped over his own feet. "She's not father, come on. Don't say it like that." His face burned red as he threw his hands up in wild protest. "Her name's Fryerin. She's an elf. She's older than you." Jinwoo froze. Slowly, painfully, he turned his gaze toward the quiet elf, who merely blinked once. In acknowledgement, Fryerin tilted her head ever so slightly, her voice calm and cool. "I've lived for over 1,000 years. Compared to me, you're the child here, father," she teased at the end by calling Jinwoo father. The silence that followed was absolute. Then Cha couldn't hold it anymore. Her laughter rang out through the shadows like bells, bright and uncontrollable. She leaned into Jinwoo's arm, her whole body shaking. Suho folded his arms smugly, glaring at his father. "See, told you." Jinwoo rubbed his temple with 2 fingers, sighing like a man who had fought gods and monsters but found his greatest battle in parenting. "Of all the people in all the worlds, my son brings home someone who makes me feel underaged." Fryerin blinked again, unbothered. It happens Cha was crying from laughter now, while Suho grinned in triumph, and Jinwoo muttered something about having raised an idiot Lullicon. "I should just adopt Izuku Midoriya." Sung Jinwoo spoke, already done with dealing with his own son, whom he sees as someone who's into young girls. It just happens that the said girl is already older than even him. "I'm still here, father," Suho yelled. Back to Izuku, who was still training his body and mind outside the cave, just suddenly sneezed. "Why do I feel like I'm some people's topic?" he said after he sneezed. Then his eyes lingered towards Astrid, who was lovingly looking at him while rubbing her flat stomach. Then he blitzed, severing space itself, and appeared behind Astrid and hugged her from behind, which startled her at first, but now she's kind of used to it by now. "You're PRG and NT, aren't you, babe?" he said, already aware of the growing child within Astrid's belly. It was theirs, their hard work, and love blossomed into a child. How?" Astrid asked, startled by her. Izuku knew that she is PRG and NT. "You're not really very subtle, Astrid. I heard what my lieges said to you." He also chuckled a little and looked at the other side of the island, sensing where the family of his liege is, and how my liege called as underage by his own daughter-in-law. But why is the young monarch into young-looking women, especially an elf? Middle school-looking elf. Time skip 1 month. The streets of Mizutefu were restless tonight, sirens echoing faintly in the distance, neon signs buzzing against the dark. Izuku's boots tapped quietly on the cracked pavement as he moved through the alleys, shadows whispering at his heels. Patrols had become routine again. Villains still crawled out of the cracks, even without the League or All for One to rally them. A scream cut through the night. Izuku didn't hesitate, his body blurred, shadows erupting as he launched forward. 2 villains had cornered a family in a narrow back street, their cruel smiles lit by a flickering streetlight. "Not on my watch. No innocent BLD will be shed under my watch," Izuku muttered. The fight ended quickly. Shadows bound one villain, while Izuku's fist slammed the other into the wall hard enough to rattle bricks. The family huddled together, trembling but safe. He knelt, softening his voice as he helped them up. "You're safe now. Go home." As they hurried away, Izuku lingered, watching the mother hold her child tight, the father shielding them both. Something tugged at his chest. He closed his eyes for a moment, and in the glow of imagination, he saw Astrid, her laugh, her stubborn smile, and in her arms, a child with his freckles and her fierce blue eyes. Izuku shook his head, a small smile ghosting his lips. One day, he thought. For now, he turned back to the shadows, hunting again. The night was still, unnaturally so. Izuku stood in the heart of the city's quiet ruins, the faint glow of neon lights painting his shadowed figure. His patrol had ended, but the silence carried weight as though the world itself was holding its breath. Then it struck, a pulse deep in his chest, violent, searing, ancient. Izuku staggered, dropping to one knee as veins burned with streaks of violet and crimson. His shadows thrashed like chained beasts suddenly unbound. And then came the voice, commanding, relentless, marshal of shadows, bearer of destruction. Izuku's vision blurred. His breath caught as the world cracked apart. When it reformed, he stood within an endless inferno. The air was molten, the sky itself aflame. A colossal figure rose from the fire, his scales crimson, his eyes blazing like suns. The monarch of destruction, Antares. Izuku's instincts screamed to kneel, but his will rooted him in place. Antares' voice thundered, sharp as a blade. "Stand tall, Marshal. Do you hear them?" And Izuku did. Echoes pressed into his mind, roars turned into whimpers, wings chained, wills broken. The cries of kin enslaved. Our kind suffer in silence. Chains bind them. Fear poisons them. Their freedom stolen. The monarch's gaze bore down on him, merciless. "You carry my flame, my legacy. You're their king now, their commander, their liberator." The flames surged, the vision cracking under its own weight. "Rise, Marshal of Shadows. Save our kin. Liberate them, or see them perish." The inferno shattered. Izuku fell back into himself, drenched in sweat, his chest heaving. Shadows whipped violently around him, but now crimson fire streaked through their depths. He rose slowly, teal eyes glowing with flecks of burning red. "Then I'll lead them. I'll free them. No one deserves to control our kin. We are proud and free species. We are dragons." Behind him, the shadows stretched outward, vast wings of dragon fire and shadow. The Marshal of Shadows had the strings of shadows cut, and a crown was rested upon Izuku Midoriya's head. 2 sets of dragon wings sprouted from his back. He has awakened as the whimpers and plea of his kin, kindled his rage. He is here, the monarch of destruction, Izuku Midoriya. The Shadow Realm was calm, its soldiers standing in their endless formation like always. Sung Jin-woo sat on his throne, one arm propped up lazily on the armrest while Cha Hae-in poured him tea. Then the air rippled. A strange pulse ran through the shadows, faint but distinct. Jin-woo's eyes flicked up. He felt it immediately. Cha paused mid-pour, raising a brow. What is it? Jin-woo leaned back, smirking faintly. The kid finally woke it up. Antares fragment. Cha blinked. Izuku. Yeah, I've been waiting for this. It just happens his catalyst is the plea of his own people, the dragons. Jin-woo said, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. He scratched his chin. Took him long enough, though. She studied his expression, the way the corner of his mouth tugged upward. You're proud. He shrugged, but the smirk didn't leave his face. Of course I am. My marshal just leveled up. Cha let out a soft laugh, shaking her head. You talk like a proud dad. She teased. Maybe I sometimes feel like one. Jin-woo replied, sipping his tea with an amused look. But the boy's strong. He stood tall in front of Antares. That's all I needed to know. The soldiers in the realm stood quietly, as if waiting. Baru tilted his insect head from afar, clicking curiously. See, Jin-woo gestured lazily toward them. Even they're curious about their junior. Cha chuckled again. You're going to spoil him with that kind of talk. Yeah, let him have it, Jin-woo said with a grin. Kids earned it after all. Astrid gripped the edge of the wooden table as another wave of nausea hit her. Her whole body shivered with the effort of holding it back, but in the end, she had to stumble toward the basin nearby. Curse this, she muttered between coughs, her voice weak but still laced with that Viking stubbornness. Morning sickness, they called it. Feels more like a dragon chewing my insides. A shadowy hand appeared at her side, steadying her shoulder. She didn't need to look, she knew who it belonged to. One of Izuku's night-class shadows, towering and clad in dark armor that shimmered faintly even in the dim light. The knight didn't speak, but it adjusted the basin closer, moving with careful precision, almost like it was worried. Astrid groaned, wiping her mouth with the back of her hand. You're a better helper than half the Vikings I grew up with. She chuckled faintly, though her face was pale. Who'd have thought I'd be comforted by a night shadow? The knight tilted its head slightly, then moved to fetch the water jug, pouring carefully into a cup before handing it to her. Its massive gauntlet somehow held the fragile thing like it was precious. Astrid took it, sipping slowly. Thanks. I guess you lot really do take after your MSTR. Huh. Always worrying. Her free hand drifted to her stomach, and despite the exhaustion, a tiny, determined smile curved her lips. He's not here right now, so you'll have to stand guard for both of us. The Shadow Knight gave a slow, deliberate bow, as if swearing an oath right then and there. Astrid leaned back, closing her eyes for a moment. Even sick, even weary, she didn't feel alone. That's when the cave shadows stirred. A ripple spread across the floor like ink spilled on stone, and out stepped Izuku. His presence filled the cavern, instantly, horns catching the dim light, emerald eyes scanning the scene. He looked otherworldly, regal, yet his expression softened the moment it landed on Astrid. Astrid, babe, what's wrong? Izuku asked, his voice laced with concern as he crossed the distance. The knights stepped back, bowing their heads in silence, making way for him. Astrid gave a half-smile, tired but touched. Your soldiers, they've been helping me while you're gone. She glanced at the shadows and then back to him. Guess they've gotten used to cleaning up after me. Izuku crouched in front of her, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. You don't need to force yourself. Next time, let me know right away. I don't care how far I am. I'll come running. Her hand found his, gripping tight. I know, babe, I know, and I thank you for that, she whispered. Behind them, the knights stood like silent guardians, unfazed, as if this scene was already a familiar routine. You can't defeat all of us, Shadow Monarch. We'll destroy what's important to you. And the plot thickens once again. Izuku lay sprawled across the bed, his hair sticking out in every direction like a forest of green moss. His quiet breathing filled the room, completely unaware of the world around him. Astrid sat at his side, propping her chin on her hand, watching him with a mischievous little grin. She leaned closer and whispered, "Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey," before gently poking his cheek with her finger. Izuku mumbled something incomprehensible and buried his face deeper into the pillow. "Oh no, don't think you can escape me," Astrid teased, poking his cheek again, then his nose. "Come on, Villain Slayer, Shadow Marshal, Dragon Monarch, whatever title you got time to wake up," she teased. "5 more minutes." Izuku muttered, his voice muffled. Astrid smirked, leaning down so her braid brushed against his face. "You're lucky you're cute when you sleep, or I'd drag you out of this bed myself." Izuku cracked one eye open, blinking blearily at her. "Astrid." "Yes," she asked sweetly. "You're still poking me." She poked him again with a grin. "And I won't stop until you get up." Izuku groaned, but the corners of his mouth tugged into a sleepy smile. "You're relentless. That's what you love about me," Astrid teased, brushing her hand through his messy hair. Izuku chuckled softly and closed his eyes again. "Yeah, it really is," Astrid sighed, finally resting her hand gently against his cheek. "All right, fine, 5 more minutes. But just 5. Izuku was already half asleep again, and Astrid couldn't help but laugh quietly. For all his power and burdens, in moments like this, he was just Izuku, her Izuku. Astrid poked his cheek one last time, watching his lips twitch into another sleepy smile. "You're impossible," she whispered, shaking her head. Izuku had already drifted back into slumber, his breathing steady, his freckles soft in the morning light. Astrid stayed there for a while, hand still against his cheek, her grin softening into something warmer. "You really do look peaceful like this," she murmured. "And cute, and all of it is all mine." Her fingers lingered on Izuku's cheeks, tracing his jawline. She yawned suddenly, surprising herself. "Ugh, don't you dare drag me into this nap of yours." But the pillow looked comfortable. Izuku's warmth radiated like a campfire, and before she knew it, Astrid shifted closer, laying her head right next to his shoulder. "I'm only staying for a minute," she told herself, her eyelids heavy. "Just 1 minute." Izuku stirred faintly in his sleep, instinctively wrapping an arm around her. Astrid's lips curved into a small smile, even as her breathing slowed. And just like that, the tough, stubborn Viking warrior and the relentless young dragon monarch drifted off together, tangled in the same quiet dream. New Berk, the night winds of Berk carried the faint smell of salt and smoke, reminders of battles past. Hiccup stood at the edge of the cliffs, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the sea met the stars. Beside him, Elsa let her fingers trail along the cool stone, a faint shimmer of frost marking her absent-minded touch. "You're thinking too much again," Elsa said softly, her voice carrying that calm weight he'd come to love. Hiccup gave a faint chuckle. "It's hard not to. Argon's forces are moving. If those bewilderbeasts clash with the dragons here, Berk won't stand chance." Elsa stepped closer, her hand brushing against his. "Then it's a good thing Berk isn't standing alone anymore." A playful glint entered her eyes as a snowflake drifted between her fingers. "You've got me." Hiccup finally turned, meeting her gaze. There was strength there, quiet, unwavering, and sharp as winter. For a moment, the weight in his chest eased. "I lost Astrid once," he admitted quietly, almost to himself. "I won't lose you too, Elsa. Not to Argon, not to anyone." Elsa's smile softened. She placed her hand on his cheek, frost curling gently against his skin without hurting him. "Then don't think of losing. Think of fighting. Together." The words sank deep. Hiccup squeezed her hand, determination rekindling. "Together," then, as they leaned closer to each other, their lips collided above them. Dragons stirred uneasily in the distance, sensing the storm that was to come. Together, till the end, they both spoke as the warm embrace of love welcomed them. Far from New Berk, in the jagged remains of a broken island, Argon the Destroyer stood atop a ridge of blackened stone. His cloak of dragon hide snapped in the bitter wind, and below him, the earth trembled with the movements of his army. Dragons. Hundreds, no, thousands of them, each bound not by chain nor steel, but by the sheer force of his will. Their eyes glowed faintly. Bewildered beasts towered like living fortresses, their tusks glistening with frost that froze rivers at a mere breath. At the heart of it all, the purple death shifted in its slumber, the ground cracking beneath its massive coils. Argon raised his hand, his voice booming like thunder across the valley. Soon, the brood of Berk shall know their folly. Their dragons will kneel, their halls will burn, and their BLD will salt the earth. By my hand, by my wrath, they shall be unmade. A vassal, clad in furs and bone armor, dropped to his knees. My Jarl, scouts say Hiccup Haddock readies his people. Shall we march now? Argon's lips twisted into a cruel smile. Let the pup bare his teeth. Let him rally his kin and clutch a false hope. When I come, I'll grind his spirit neath my heel, as I'll grind his people to dust. He will learn what it means to stand against the destroyer. The bewildered beasts bellowed in unison, a sound that shook the skies like the drums of war. Argon spread his arms wide, glorying in the might he commanded. Mark it well, the age of Berk ends, and the age of Argon begins. The great hall of New Berk buzzed with low chatter, the sound of crackling fire, and the occasional clank of mugs on tables. Hiccup and Elsa sat side by side at the head of the table, a small map of the archipelago spread out before them. Toothless and Stormfly lay curled near the hearth, though both dragons stirred uneasily, sensing something in the air. The doors suddenly slammed open, nearly flying off their hinges. "We're back," Snotlout shouted, stumbling in first, his helmet askew and his chest puffed out as if he had just slain 10 dragons himself. Behind him, Roughnut and Toughnut half ran, half tripped over each other, covered in soot and smelling faintly of singed fish. By Thor's stinky socks, Toughnut wheezed, "We almost got roasted into kebabs." "No thanks to you two idiots," Snotlout snapped, glaring at them. "Do you always have to light something on fire when we're supposed to be sneaky?" Roughnut threw up her hands. "Hey," the sheep looked at me funny. "You can't trust sheep, they're spies for Argon. I'm telling you." "Spies," Snotlout groaned, rubbing his temples. "Hiccup, I swear, if they weren't so good at running away screaming, I'd have left them behind." Hiccup stood, his eyes narrowing. "Tell me what you saw." Snotlout straightened, his usual bravado dropping as he recalled the sight. An army, Hiccup, not just a pack of wild dragons, an army. Thousands of them, following Argon like he was their chief, and the bewildered beasts. There are more than one. Like the info months ago, the twins leaned in together, their voices overlapping. And the purple death. Yeah, it's there too. Huge, scary, smells like burning rocks, yeah. If rocks are purple. Elsa's hand tightened slightly on the table, frost creeping along the edges of the map as her magic responded to her unease. So it's true. Argon is gathering everything he can. Elsa spoke grimly. Snotlout nodded grimly, though he tried to puff out his chest again. "But hey, don't worry. You've got me. Snotlout the fearless. And maybe the twins too, if they don't set themselves on fire first." "Hey," Roughnut and Toughnut said in unison. Hiccup looked at them all, his expression hardening. He reached over, gently brushing Elsa's hand, grounding himself. "Then it's settled. Argon's coming for Berk. We need to be ready for everything." The room went quiet, the weight of war sinking in, even as Snotlout and the twins continued to bicker softly in the background. Near Berk, in an island, a looming red-scaled dragon landed on the island. Is it an ally or a foe? My brethren, my monarch, grants you mercy. This marks the end of part 1 of What If Deku Was Alone with a Girl on an Island. A big thanks to Prysmordia for granting the permission to feature this amazing fanfiction. Please like the video and subscribe to Deku Universe for more interesting stories. Thank you, and see you soon.